All right. We are addressing issues tonight about the outcome of war. This is a picture that was taken by a photographer and a journalist who posted this picture on the Seattle Times and was fired for posting this picture. This picture got a person fired from their job. See, the American government told the Seattle Times, you can't allow this to be seen. You can't allow the bodies of 6,000 men and some women coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan to be shown to the American people. This is the kind of government and media we have, allowing the American people to live in kind of a desensitized dream state where the wars happen over there and they never ever bother anybody here. Well, I'm living under the flight path of the F-18 here. And they are producing 39 new F-18s. They're going to be flying over our house, training over a population of 50,000 people here on Whidbey Island, Washington. The Whidbey Naval Air Station is the center of training now for all these planes. And many of the pilots are completely inept. Just the other day, I saw two pilots nearly collide over my house. Right above my house, I saw two pilots make a very dangerous move with two F-18s, nearly clipping each other's wings. And I have to listen to the reality that the people of America could care less. And the people in this area who seem to think that jobs are more important than reality spend all their time thinking, well, jets equal jobs and we need these jets. Well, these jets will someday end up killing somebody here on the island. And worse than that, they're actually killing people right now. They're flying over to Syria and dropping bombs on innocent people. Barack Obama ratified the attempt to attack Syria. The Congress agreed with the idea and authorized $500 million to go to the rebels. And then Obama starts a surgical strike on the rebels. So we're funding the very same people we're killing, and we killed over 533 people just last month. The government found out that 33 of those people are actually innocent civilians. So there's a terrible dark spot in American foreign policy, and we are not dealing with it with these existing two parties. They aren't stopping this tyranny. And that many people around the world they're saying that this is the worst behavior a country could engage in. Our nation is seen as a behemoth, a monster around the world. This is no way to act like a strong nation. This is no way to charter a pathway to peace. You, sir, are an idiot, and I'm going to ban you. Anyone who comes in the show trying to demoralize me, welcome to my world. A world where I eat it up. I can eat you up. That's right. And spit you out like it was nothing. Moving on. Oh, there are innocent civilians in Syria and in Iraq. You've been desensitized to the idea that people are people. You hate Muslims, Meow TV. Yeah, you actually hate every Muslim. You know, America has an enclave of millions of Muslims that are trying to live peaceably. They're not part of a jihadist organization. They're just trying to live in peace with what they believe is their God. I'm not here as an apologist to say, oh yes, Muslims are this, that. I think we have freedom of religion. Demon, do you want to be banned too? All right. Well, it is Meow's choice to hate Muslims. I'm not saying it isn't, but he really does. I'm saying he's dehumanizing the face of humanity. Arch conservatives like him are trying to turn everybody into an enemy. And you can't fight wars when the enemies grow faster than you can kill them. You take out innocent people and you're going to find people that hate you. Walk softly and carry a big stick. That's what Topper Dan says. And that's exactly my policy. I believe in a strong defense as the best preventative measure to save our nation from imminent World War III. Right now, we're pressing the button on World War III. And I'm going to ban anybody who comes in here questioning my ability to become president, because I already know I'm going to be president. I can feel it. The tenor of concern among our nation is growing so loud. People are so frustrated with the Republican Party because they didn't even pass the Keystone Pipeline last week, yet they have control over Congress. I mean, this is the most castrated party I've ever seen. The Republican Party has had their balls removed. They were afraid to even mention that Barack Obama is an illegal alien in both elections. Never once did they carry that banner. Even when Donald Trump asked the Republicans, could you just please open it up as a question? It cost Mitt Romney the election. They don't even know where they are. They have no political compass to find their way. They are living in a world with mixed opinions, moderates controlling their party, not even knowing what a moderate really is. All right. I personally never voted Republican except recently. I did it in the recent elections because I need balance in a state of Democrats that think that they have entitlement, that they can just walk all over people, they can steal my signs in my local primary, destroying the very essence of democracy, and put us as a nation at risk because we don't have a political process with these people running around thinking they own everything. And they can basically give all that money to illegal aliens, screwing over the American citizen with more taxes. So the Democrats are on their way out too. That's why you're here, Zeno Chirel. We both are disliking Republicans and Democrats. I'm on a roll, but I'm on a roll every night. I didn't consider myself a Democrat. I said I preferred Democrats. There's a big difference. In the state of Washington, you can prefer to be a Democrat or a Republican. I preferred a Democrat because I was a Democrat for 30 years, and I gave them one last chance to prove themselves, and they proved to be the least democratic people of all. Yeah, you can read anything on my site. I firmly believe that this back and forth on all the issues, Republican versus Democrat, is killing our nation. Demon Dave, thank you for complimenting our show. La Piquina y Liriquin. Okay, Ann, I'll take a look at that. Thanks a lot. Oh, I got my tooth issue worked out.
Yo soy la pequeña Hillary.
Oh, bueno. Okay, we'll take a look at that. My Spanish is a little rough, but I'll try to translate it. Yeah, well, a lot of people are ex-Republicans and ex-Democrats here. We come from a common ground. We're both pissed off at our party. I preferred them in the previous election. I'm not a hypocrite. Believe me, I left the Democratic Party in 2008, you freak. And I'll ban anybody who comes in here and tries to demoralize our show. So don't come in here and try to degrade me or to call me a hypocrite. When I've been open about my America's Third Party assignment, we built this entire plan to build a third party, but we couldn't build it by 2014. In 6 years, we couldn't build the party. So I ran as a preferred Democrat, and they basically vilified me in the foreign press and stole most of my signs. Thanks, Democrats. You really don't know anything about democracy, do you? And you Republicans, you really don't know much about freedom. You won't even protect us from all the drones flying over our head. Rand Paul's running around talking about how he approves of the 30,000 drones that are going to be watching us by 2020. I will do everything I can to keep illegal immigrants from breaching our border, and I will not give them amnesty. We have a plan called Fast Track Naturalization, which is a plan to put them in a position where they could become a citizen, but they have to go back to the U.S. Embassy in their home country to do it, and they have to pay a fee to do it. It's not a free ride like Obama wants to give these people. Well, the army of change is being built right now in the minds of the people that are talking about a third party everywhere in this country. It's an awakening. It's an awareness thing that's happening. By the way, in case you didn't know, people don't like to do much anymore. They like to just relax because they're oversensitized, burdened with too many diversions every day. People can't focus. So building a third party is like asking me to pull a tooth out without an anesthetic. You can't do it. I'm not a cold-hearted person. I'm a warm, soft-hearted person with a cold exterior. You need to realize the difference. When you get into my inner circle, you realize how kind I am. But on the exterior, I really want people to know that I'm not going to put up their BS. And I'm not a weak person. I'm a kind person. And don't confuse kindness with weakness. Please. It's the critical error in your judgment. Scott Walker could try. Good luck, Scott. I'm reaching out to Democrats. Scott won't pull any Democratic votes. I can urge Democrats to recognize the corruption within their own party. Scott Walker can't do that. I can pull people from the Republican Party that are Tea Party activists that feel that the Republican Party is shunning them in the upcoming election. I'm as fiscally conservative as most Tea Party people. But I'm socially liberal too. I want to keep my eye on the ball. I want the government to actually fix the problems facing our nation. Jobs are the critical problem, and we haven't seen any real groundbreaking moves by the Democrats. The unemployment rate of 6% or whatever they want to call it is a fake unemployment statistic. It's based on how many people are drawing unemployment compensation insurance right now. And that number's dropped because people dropped off the roll. They ran out of their 99 weeks of free money from the government. All right. So we are pulling both sides of the political spectrum, and we need a person like me who's fluid, ready to talk on my feet without a teleprompter, unlike Barack Obama, and an ability to change the dynamic, the political dynamic, by introducing something that many people have forgotten: free speech. Yeah. When I exercise my free speech, people call me a racist, and I've never said a racist slur in my life. So you can understand how far off track we've become with these softy, mediocre politicians who are corrupt, running our country into the ground, expecting validation from a group of people that are seriously not getting good quality jobs and aren't even able to make more than 0.5% in their bank accounts. The nation hasn't given $1 to the average person in this country, but they give billions and trillions to the Wall Street executives and too big to fail companies. And no, I'm not reading this off a teleprompter. Our country is in dire need of some solid common sense. And I'm not a racist. I've never said a racist slur in my life. I've never done anything racist. Never. No. My Barack Obama video is absolute parody. And it's completely within the realm of free speech to engage in parody. For anyone to deny that, they're denying the very basis this country was founded on. The freedoms that this country was created to stop England from stepping on us and treading on us. You're trying to say that I'm this guy right here. I'm not that guy. Okay? I'm quite the opposite. I'm a guy who truly just wants to impersonate Barack Obama in a way that will help you realize that he's a complete freak, a freak of nature. And I wanted you to understand that. And I'm doing another Blackface 2 video, and it's in the editing bay right now. We did our entire 3-hour broadcast on Halloween, and I've taken pieces of various parts of my dress rehearsal, and I'm building it into a 1-hour Blackface 2 video, which has a musical backbeat, and it is accompanied by a 3-minute dance video. So we're all going to hang out, get down, and boogie while these Democrats go. They don't know what they're doing. Nothing about delusions or grandeur here. I am the person who will lead this nation out of the critical problem we're facing right now. There's no delusions. I know what I have to do, and I know how to do it, and that's what makes me dangerous to the two-party system. They see me coming, and they go, who is this guy? Why is he taking risks like this? Doesn't he realize this is political suicide, what he's doing? Far from it. I'm an average American exercising my freedom of speech in a way that gets through a media that has been locked down because of moneyed interests, preventing anybody from talking about the issues unless you're one of them, one of those 35 people that are paid pundits on the news, talking about the news, video, news, sports, and weather. All right, let's talk about what we need to talk about tonight. How to stop this ridiculous concept of war with Russia, which Barack Obama and John McCain and John Kerry keep promoting every time they talk. Well, the critical problem is we don't have freedom of speech. Our nation's shut down the free press, Delton. If we had a free press, we wouldn't have the AP getting all their emails checked by the Justice Department, would we now? You wouldn't see people like Michael Hastings, one of the best investigative journalists, stuffed off the face of the earth at a young age. The man literally was blown out of his car at 4:30 in the morning driving down Melrose in Florence. His engine flew 50 feet away, and not one LAPD investigation into foul play. We're talking about a country that's suppressing the rights of the people to simply ask questions and get involved in their government. What happened to me in the election when they stole 90% of my signs would never have been allowed in other countries that are emerging democracies. In Eastern European bloc countries like Romania, it'd be a 2-year prison sentence if you stole political signs from people. Good evening, businessman. Hello. Look, I know we have a lot of problems, and I can't just come to the table with this my way or the highway attitude. I realize that. Michael Hastings was a news god, and he won the Polk Award in 2010 for his work with General McChrystal, which, by the way, Virus, what are you saying? I'm failing tonight? Failing what? Yeah, why don't you get the hell out of the room? You're done. Don't ever say anything demoralizing here in this room or I will ban you. Now that's a very strong-handed person running a show that has to keep everything on target. If we lose track of what we're doing, we'll let these trolls dominate the show and we'll end up talking about nothing. My thoughts on Canada, Delton. Canada is a strong ally. I see no problems with Canada well into the future. Thank you, Bo Rules. Okay. Yeah, well. We don't have any mods because people who get mods tend to think it's special, and other people get pushed aside, you know. No, not at all. The NSA couldn't possibly be concerned about me. I'm not even on their radar. I've posed no threat to the nation. I'm a guy who wants to fix things. I want to change government from within. I'm a troubleshooter. I'm not in any way a threat to this nation. I'm a very, very proud American, and I will do everything to protect this nation. Any time Obama reads from Scripture, he's obviously lying. He's clearly a Muslim, and even the ring finger proves that he's a Muslim. The ring finger that he has an inscription on it that does say Allah is the one and only God. And somebody said, well, what about that Snopes article that says it shows a little snake? For one, that's not his ring finger. That's a fake ring made to look like a snake. And two, why would a president of the United States wear a snake on his ring finger? So even the Snopes article kind of falls short of dispensing with any concerns people have about this guy. He's clearly a Muslim, and he clearly has a Muslim directive. His handlers, the people that put him in power, their primary goal is to break up nations. They're nation breakers. So they'll introduce illegal immigration. They will force Muslims to attack Christians. They'll force Christians to attack Muslims. They don't care who's running the country as long as they're in control of the monetary system. It's that simple. Doesn't matter if they're Muslim or Christian. They just want to control the world. I have never kissed another man, and that's bizarre that you didn't say that. Okay, let's talk about what's going on here. Could you please change the bag out of respect to those soldiers? No, I'm trying to show respect right now that these soldiers died, and many people are wondering maybe Barack Obama had a self-fulfilling prophecy when he said, well, make no mistake about it, those men died in vain. He made them die in vain. He created the environment for us to pull out of Iraq. Now, you go to my website right now and you'll see. You can try to become a Secret Service agent. We'll take your apps. If you want to send an app in, you can go to send an app into America's Third Party at gmail.com. Feel free. It matters because he was elected on the idea he was Christian, guess 1607, and he lied about his Christian faith. Obama hasn't opened a Bible since he abdicated his relations with the Trinity United Church and the Down Low Club. Reverend Wright, he basically said, I will never talk to you again, and Reverend Wright called him an outright liar. And then he said he was going to take his prayers through his iPhone. Seriously. I mean, the guy doesn't even have any religion. He doesn't believe in God, or if he does, it's Allah. And it's his definition. He lied to us. That's the problem. You can't get elected lying to everybody about your religion or your beliefs or anything. You know, I do like the Libertarian Party. I don't mind talking to them. I know that they're very unhappy with the way government runs. I'm a little different. I'm more of a progressive libertarian. I want to shrink the size of government, but I want to make it run efficiently. I don't know what Obama's opened other than a bong or a crack pipe, you know. I don't have an obsession with Obama. You're the guy that put him in place to prevent our nation from moving forward. So my obsession really is with you, the guys and girls that voted for Obama. That's right, the Down Low Club. Barack Obama had 3 boyfriends that were very close to him that are now dead. All right, in deference to your concern about the background, I will pull it off just to show respect for your patriotism. And I don't think we need to dwell on the fact that we are killing men fighting wars. Many of you don't get that. We could put a drone behind us. What about this drone that was captured by Tehran? And Lockheed Martin never acknowledged it happening. The president never even made a comment. But this is a U.S. drone that was literally brought down into Tehran 2.5, 3 years ago. They've got the ability to control our drones. And these people in our government want to start a war with Syria and Iran? I will not make pirating legal, no. I believe in a first strike copyright law, of which there's not a lot to it. It's just you get paid when you make something creative on your first round. You can't get money past your first strike. I don't like drones being used for surveillance, but I will use drones to defend our border and make sure that enemies, even illegal aliens, aren't coming in rapidly. So we'll be flying drones over the Mexican border frequently. But I won't use drones for surveillance of domestic operations whatsoever. We'll pass a law that all commercial drones will not be allowed to be used for surveillance or private detectives or anything like that. Of course, we're going to audit the IRS and the Federal Reserve. They're basically an arm of each other. They're joined at the hip. The IRS and Federal Reserve pretty much grew out of the 1936 work of FDR. And there's every bit of evidence that the Federal Reserve needs to be retired. The charter needs to, yes, I need to end the Fed. And we need to put an instrument in place to do that. So we're going to have to run a parallel bank to provide funds for growth in America, an infrastructure bank that'll offer 2% loans to U.S. businesses, hiring U.S. citizens at a living wage. That's a concept that I'm introducing as a bypass to the lockdown on the minimum wage laws. I support a $10 minimum wage, but Republicans won't go there. So I'm supporting instead right now an infrastructure bank that'll give U.S. businesses a chance to hire U.S. citizens, not people who have work visas from Mexico, U.S. citizens at a living wage. That's the plan. And we will begin reversing all the destruction that Barack Obama has put in place. This illegal president has gotten away with atrocity after atrocity, and these Democrats that don't question a thing he does, not even the kill list of people that have died as a result of unnecessary drone strikes, UAV strikes, these Democrats don't even question the guy about anything. A lot of you Democrats really need to ask yourself, are you following Satan, or are you going to talk about democracy here? All right. I didn't see this exchange, no. Is it an exchange? It's not really an air horn effect. Bo Rules, do you really want to stay in the room? Seriously, man. Do you really want to stay in the room? Because I will ban you and it'll be good for good now. This isn't funny. You ready to get banned for good and you'll never get unbanned? This is your last warning. All right. Thank you. Okay, it is funny. It's an air horn. That's how Barack Obama talks to Michelle. I get it. It's funny. No, if you notice more people in your room than usual, you can thank Obama. He set them free. Thank you, Robert. Good point.
Welcome to the Walmart Holiday Hub Kitchen. I'm
going to skip that ad. What am I watching, Ann? Okay. It's parody. Claymation. I like it. This could be like an Academy Award-winning claymation. Well done. Okay, I'm getting a little bit sick just looking at it. David, I will hire you to install my solar panels. I'm not a solar panel installer. There's lots of those guys walking around right now. Do you believe in ending corporate subsidies? I do. I do, definitely. Oh, yeah. Well, Bud Smoker, I support getting the deductions and tax credits that corporations use to avoid paying taxes, getting rid of them with a flat tax. I'm a big flat tax supporter. No, I won't be leaving the White House, Stage Rock. I'll be in the White House the entire time of my presidency. I doubt I'll ever leave. Please keep your questions pertinent to politics. Do you even care that Tehran landed one of our drones? Do you even care? Okay. That is a lie. I've never done any videos of that sort. All right. You're a member of NAMBLA and you expect me to support you? You're banned. Please don't come in here. Well, Senator Rand Paul could reach across the aisle all he wants. He's going to end up having a corporate circle jerk. Rand Paul has sold his soul to the devil, obviously. He's all corporate, and he basically didn't even want to run for Senate. 2010, his dad said, son, why didn't you run? I mean, I'm a congressman. And Rand Paul, I don't really want to run, Dad. And then about a month later, he ran and won in the 2010 election. Ron Paul is awesome. And he not only was awesome, he is, yeah. What do you mean Rand Paul is not his father? Ron Paul is Rand Paul's father. Well, the Rand Corporation is not run by Rand or Ron. I don't know what NAMBLA is, but I can tell you this person was obviously a pervert. Maybe do you think the USA should have stayed part of the Commonwealth? Are you kidding? We left every part of the Commonwealth for our freedom. I think you know that. Rand Paul says he supports drone strikes, period. And he supports drones within the United States. I can't even imagine supporting drones within the United States. No, Emmett, I can't unban all right now. You know that. We're dealing with a tremendous amount of threats on our show, as you know. Here's a person who's speaking out in favor of Hillary. Let's take a look.
I'm thinking about letting it out. I wanna give in. I wanna go out.
So this is like an impersonation video of Hillary? That's funny. Yeah. I'm not here to, this is not like a sideshow act, so it's not that funny. It's funny that she's trying to impersonate Hillary, though. That's kind of funny. Okay, Soda Head has something. Reggie Love. More information about Reggie Love. What's going on with Reggie? Is Reggie giving Barack Obama some problems with his massages? What's happening there? Hillary Clinton is a man? Now, I have never heard that. If you had said Hillary Clinton is a reptilian, I would have agreed. But a man? That's hard to believe. David, why did you ban me? It's because someone said something about me in private. So, President, hello? Wow. You know, guests that write that much stuff really should cut and copy it in a notebook so they can keep coming in and spamming it over and over again. We'll see if that person does that. Yeah, the puppet Congress we got now, I know. Believe me, the Cook brothers are just as bad as George Soros, and they both control the same problem. Corporate-controlled politics. What about that do you not understand? I think genetically modified food should be banned. Yes. And I want to make genetically modified food our topic tonight, but right now I got to deal with a president and a bunch of idiots in the Republican Party that want a war with Syria. So let's talk about GMOs, but could we just kind of put that on the back burner right now? Because I really need to get to the fact that we are dealing with very hawkish people in the two parties that want war. It's like they don't even know what war is. Now, John McCain did spend some time in a POW camp and was involved in the Vietnam War. So I'm not going to cast that aspersion on John McCain. But that's the point. I wouldn't be running if I would be a sellout. I'm the unviable presidential candidate. It's not about getting elected at all costs. It's about getting the right guy to the right position to help save the nation. If I were to give in and be a suck-up to the two-party system, I would become a mushy-brained, corporate, greedy pig. And that's not me. I've never worked for a corporation, and I'm not a career politician. We'll tell you what. If I will make a deal with you, I will unban all if I can ban Bo Rules forever and ever. Is that cool? So I will unban all and then ban Bo Rules forever and ever. Would that make you happy? Well, he's got to say it's a deal. You guys, of course, would like that idea, but he has to agree. David, what if you let them buy you out? I can't be bought out. I'm the unviable candidate. No, because what I'm talking about involves actually pursuing fairness in the political system. They're not going to like fairness. The Democrats don't want term limits. The Republicans don't want term limits. I want term limits. The Democrats don't want election ballot reform. The Republicans don't want election ballot reform. I want election ballot reform. They don't want anything I want. So why would I suck up to them so that I could be absorbed in their nonsense of being a corporate greedy pig, government official? No, we're not selling ATP. We're giving it to the American people if you get me on the ballot in every state. If you don't, then I guess we are going to make it a private corporation or something. I don't know. Thank you. You keep saying I'm very handsome. It makes me feel good. I like to feel good. Okay, Obama vacation with Reggie Love alone. And the CIA is warning that a 25-year Great Depression is about to strike America. Why is it the CIA is starting to sound like whack jobs? I mean, it's because they mastered the art of being a whack job. They hired people like Alex Jones to be their shill. I'm not endorsed by the Brady campaign, no. I need 51% of the Electoral College. And that means all of you can become electors right now by going to our website and applying to become an elector. Or writing me an email saying, hey, I'd like to become an elector for America's Third Party. No, I told you I don't do anything quid pro quo. I won't give you a dinner date for a donation of $4,500. It's preposterous to think that I'm like all the other politicians. You either like our platform or don't support me. It's that simple. And I'm very, very particular. I'm not going to be doing your bidding. I don't care how much money you donate. This is about building a platform that's good for the American people and good for business. All right? I won't even take a TV dinner in the mail that's melted and eat it separately on a remote camera. No, Obama didn't give the drone to Iran. Iran has a 30-year history of proton beam research. They've been researching proton beams and masers, things you don't even know anything about. Iran's been working on for 30 years. So they were able to either hijack the codes for the telemetry of that vehicle, using radio frequency communication. They hijacked the QSR-11 chip and brought it down. And the government has done nothing to secure the QSR-11 chips in every plane around the country. I find our nation to be run by a bunch of absolute imbeciles, and we're lucky we haven't had a massive terrorist attack since 9/11. Really. Based on the simple fact that, well, in 2007, the Clark Kent Irving, the director of Homeland Security Initiative, said that only 15% of the baggage coming into the country is checked for bombs. What about Flight 800 or all these other planes that you don't know what happened? We don't know what caused any of these accidents. It's all just cover-up. Well, I look at 50% reduction in foreign aid. I'm going to type that in the room. I'm shooting for a 50% reduction in foreign aid. So currently our country puts out about $50 billion a year, plus or minus a few bill. And we could get down to $25 billion. Obama doubled the amount of money we committed to the Millennium Directive. We had committed $26 billion to the UN Millennium Directive in 2000, and he upped it to $53 billion in funds. We don't have that money. We can't support these people. We can stop foreign wars by not starting them. We can minimize foreign aid, Richard. I don't want to destabilize our allies in any way. I don't want to create impoverished nations all around us. If they rely on a certain amount of funding, I can see giving them that. Let me just say this. I want to phase them down to 50%. And then we'll talk. If you make a massive cut in any department in this country, it could destabilize certain economic loops of capital. And, let's take Pakistan, for example. We give close to $1.6 billion a year to Pakistan. Out of that, they take $100 million and hire lobbyists in America to lobby for more money. That's kind of a mess. Thanks for the faces, but it's getting a little bit redundant. Yes, Israel did attack the USS Liberty, and not many people are even aware of that. And LBJ did nothing in response to that. We've got a very Israel-allied, dominated government. We're not going to change that real quick. It's not going to happen overnight. We have to get our nation to think that if we allow the human rights abuses in Israel, whenever they go cleaning out the Gaza Strip and the Fatah organization, Hamas, all these organizations that are constantly, are Israel's adversaries, they are treating that as a cleanup operation where they go in and take out 1,000, 1,200 people with rockets. And of course, a lot of these people are truly terrorists, but many of them are innocents. And in 2009, Israel killed 500 innocent people in the Palestinian enclave of the Gaza Strip. Recently, 150, I believe, died. To 2012, and more recently, I believe more than that died. 1,300. So a lot of people are dying in Israel. So we shouldn't just stand there and go, "Oh yeah, we're okay with that." We're not. And we need to use economic sanctions to hold Israel back. So yes, we will use the power of the purse string in various countries to keep them from killing people. The Homestead Renewal Plan, Guest 373, thanks for asking about it. It is a plan to get people shovel-ready jobs. And I'll briefly talk about that since you brought it up. We normally talk about that during the week, but I don't mind giving you a little primer on what the whole Homestead Renewal Plan is. It's a way in which we fix up existing houses that are foreclosed or condemned, and we renovate them. Now, we believe we can get houses like this one right here built for under $10,000 in supplies. And we believe that these houses could very well supply our nation with the jobs needed at the low level of people that just need a job. Anybody can paint walls. And we will train people to install solar panels at the same time. We're going to be building a solar panel industry at the government level. We're not going to give the money to some private corporation like Solyndra. You're going back to college as an adult student. I'm afraid I won't get it in because I'm not a minority. What are your thoughts on affirmative action? So guest 703, I'm against affirmative action. I was a victim of affirmative action in my life. I truly was. I was kept out of 5 major colleges, and I was the #1 student out of 770 students. I had a 4.0 average at a high school, and I had high SATs in the top 98 percentile. Hey there, Frankie. You've also been a victim of the affirmative action? Well, join the club, man. We're building this third party it's a decent house. It's not an ugly house, not at all. Any one of you would be lucky to live in a house this nice. But maybe we should just send you off to the drones. You could live in the drone in Iran. Would you prefer that? Well, most U.S. corporations have been dominated by people with a lot of money, and the Jewish people have dominated the banking industry and the media, and of course, the healthcare industry, and of course, law. They're in the top 98 percentile. Thank you. You developed a solar panel that straps onto a what? Oh my gosh. David, you got into a UCLA and refused to finish your degree, so it wouldn't have mattered? No, it did matter. UCLA was easy to get into. They accepted people with B- averages at UCLA that were, of course, Caucasian. But if you have a B- average and try to get into Occidental or possibly Harvard, you never would have made it if you were Caucasian. All right. Whew. Wow. How's the weather in Buffalo? Are you getting more snow? Many of your dad's corporations are corrupt, yes, unfortunately. There are a lot of corporations that have corrupt leaders. That's why American CEOs tend to get 40 to 60 times what the lowest paid worker gets. There are people in America that make $20 million a year salaries, like the CEO of Monsanto. No, you cannot demoralize me in the show. It means you're going to be banned, and you'll just keep coming back as a guest, I guess. There's going to be massive flooding in the Northeast. I know. I heard. It's pretty serious. And a lot of the weather changes are traceable to chemtrail activity. I didn't eat a lot. I had a big dinner tonight. I will admit that. But it wasn't over 2,000 calories. Our broken news system at its heart is broken because it's all about the money. About the money. No truth. It's all about the money. About the money. No truth. They don't seek the truth anymore. They just want money. It's all about the money. About the money. No truth. David, can I use Air Force One at my disposal? No. Unless we make you a little miniature replica you can stick in your bathroom and play in the bathtub with it. Yeah, I figured you were going to cut and paste that, and that's why I'm ready to ban anybody who says, negative things in our chat room. It's just not right, folks. We will not allow it. All right, we'll ban anybody who comes in here attacking our show. It's that simple. Good voice. All about the money, no truth, about the money. You have a good radio voice, man? Well, thank you. I worked in radio for a few years. I didn't really like radio. I prefer the actual real-life experience, talking to you one-on-one for free. I don't like having some news director or someone telling me what to do. Chemtrails are real. Mind control towers are real. How do you know what you were saying is correct right now? Because I'm in a lead-shielded underground facility. That's exactly how I know I'm safe. Oh, you're going to bring me down? Mark your words? You and a lot of other people are going to face a spray of gunfire if you walk through my front door, I can tell you that. You'll have your brains splattered on the wall. It'll be kind of like a Dexter's Wet Dream kind of thing. Yeah, it's like, I was in mortal danger, sir. I didn't know what to do. I was protecting Sarah and myself with my dangerous BB gun. No, the First Lady's not okay. There's a transgender underneath her dress. I have not had purple hair in my life. I just thought I'd show you what Tehran landed, and nobody seems to care. The hair is not green. It's actually yellowish. No, my bands are exactly what is needed to deal with your troll ass. Thank you. She's doing great. Sarah's currently not with us tonight. She's visiting someone. Well, I've never really been threatened by Iran, Richard. They've never started a war with America. I would like to get Iran on the negotiating table. I know that Barack Obama failed miserably. John Kerry failed miserably. When they met President Rouhani and negotiated to give him $7 billion with nothing in return, I saw American politics collapse from beneath that negotiation. These people don't even know how to negotiate with Iran. Iranians, that's all they know is negotiation. I'm not about the business. I'm about the truth. It's not about the money, about the truth. No trouble. Okay. She will be coming back maybe for a cameo, we're hoping. Well, I support the right to bear arms and legs and pinkies. Okay, great. Solar-powered electric company, really? Texas looking good. I like it. Thank you, X and Earl. We'll add this to our links for our Thursday show. Texas, good solar power coming out of Texas, folks. I understand New York is building a beautiful solar production plant in New York. The government of New York is building it. It's pretty cool. Better the devil you know. Don't you think if Saddam was still in control of Iraq, would be better off in its current situation? Are you serious? Saddam would not have been better off. He was a tyrannical leader that was killing people who questioned him. I would never hurt anybody. Even trolls that come in here threatening my life, I would never hurt. I'd put them in Supermax for about 50 years, but I would never hurt them. We would only detain them for their crimes against humanity. David, you would be worse than Obama? That's a demoralizing statement. You apparently don't even know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the ideas presented in our platform. Yes, the USA was involved in starting a war in Iraq that led to the death of 1 million people. That's the closest I've heard. I've never heard it more than 1 million. Vietnam, there were about 4 million Southeast Asians that were indirectly killed with our actions in Vietnam. I didn't know that. Thanks for telling me. Well, basically, ISIS is much more preferable than Saddam, insofar as ISIS is run by the CIA. So I would choose ISIS. I don't really want a telephone call. I want a cup of coffee. I would not have the leaders above me controlling anything. One of the things about me is I'm willing to risk my life to lead this nation. I don't know how many of you people have that level of courage. I really don't think any of you do. That's why I'm running for president, because I have the courage to take a bullet for this nation, just like the men and women who go out fighting for our country. God. Okay. Let's bring on a new background. Bring on the clowns. Let's see what we got here. Okay, we'll do the clown background.
Is it all this? Is it not fair? Me standing here in the rock you left me this year. Send in the
Okay, yeah, so elections are rigged, yep. And you wonder why your two-party system is failing you. We're just profiling clowns that we would like to see, out of office. Tonight's topic is anti-war rally. Let's take a look at some of these clowns in the background. Okay. Okay, stop getting angry at guest 705. I appreciate that. Well, the plan to unrig elections, mofo, is to get some level of accountability from the election process. That means all Diebold voting systems cannot have a USB port. A USB port is hackable. What about that do you not understand? Okay? All right. You want to stoppy woppy the video? All right. Let me bring something static in. Meaning, freeze frame. Freeze frame. Hold on. Banners, right. Backgrounds coming up. Okay, something that evokes war. I'm just going to bring in the White House. It's a better background. Not nice. Let's do this. Let me go get my jacket on and look professional here. Hang on. Somebody said, David, why don't you wear a jacket? I agree. I look better with a jacket on. Well, I'll tell the Secret Service that I'll be at the bathroom for the next half hour. Thanks. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to America's Third Party. I'll be your host tonight. I'm David John Sponheim. Let's pretend like we're just starting the show again, and we're going to erase the negativity that just smeared across the chat room. All right. I'm running for president in 2016. My name is David John Sponheim, and I believe that I have a plan that will help save this nation. It's a simple plan. You told me a year ago the campaign to right to bear arms, and you listened. Well, I've been supporting gun rights for 8 years now. There was a time when I started this effort where I wanted to reinstate the ban on assault weapons. I don't want to do that anymore. I listen to the people who are concerned. An assault weapons ban would be, we couldn't process any criminal charges against people, for one. It would be impossible. The litigation would tie up our court system. And 3, it would really violate our freedom, the tenet based on the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. What happened, Richard? You just spent 5 days in the hospital? What happened? I didn't know that. You didn't tell me that until now. Oh, it's going to be a slow show while Mark Vaughn is casting? Okay, Abnormal, that's okay. Mark Vaughn can have his day in his world of video. He wants to be his own star, that's fine. Well, you need assault weapons to protect yourself against criminals with assault weapons who can get them easily on the street, guess 1607. Now, I don't want full automatic weapons. I just want the ability of a person to buy a .22 rifle, which by the Democrats' definition would be an assault weapon. Okay, well, it doesn't even matter if he's casting. As long as he's having a fun time and his mommy likes him, everything's good. Jerk of fan, that's not even funny. But whatever. Well, I'd like to get some donations going. If you guys want to donate to America's Third Party, you could go to our website and donate. Hit the donate button. I mean, I don't push for donations because I'm not into money. I think I told you that. I'm the unviable candidate. All right. I heard about the Google fingerprint database. I'm a little miffed that the government didn't take over Google by now. And well, they did take over Google. What am I saying? But they're trying to pretend like Google's a private company, and it's not anymore. We need to bust the monopoly known as Google. But I like the fingerprint concept as long as people can guarantee that they have identity for sure when making transactions. It makes sense. And those USB fingerprint readers are not that expensive. You know, whore dog, it has to be you that says we need money to win, Dave. Well, then why don't you make a donation? For those of you that believe that we need money to win, please donate, because I can't do it without money, I agree. But we need about 60 million people. Money would help, but again, I'm not into the money. I'm all about the truth. I would be willing to do any kind of a relationship with companies that would offer good plans to buy cars, Bud Smoker. I have a plan to create a plug-in hybrid electric when I'm president at the U.S. Auto Corporation, which has never been formed yet. Thank you, Brocon. The U.S. Auto Corporation could create this plug-in hybrid electric that gets 100 miles per gallon and costs right around $15,000 and undermine the market that Prius and Honda have so carefully constructed in our country. This would be a major blow to Japanese automakers, and it would send a message to them saying, hey, you don't tread on us. Right? We are not your resource to harvest. So what I would do is I'd borrow the patents. I wouldn't pay necessarily for them. I would borrow the patents from Toyota to create regenerative braking in the front end of the vehicle. And I would borrow the integrative motor assist plan that Honda uses. Now, when I say borrow, I really mean borrow, because it's really in our best interest to work with those countries, and they must know that they can't just get our avionics plans for free. We gave them $1 billion worth of avionics plans, helicopter designs, and they gave us nothing in return. So we'll be borrowing their regenerative braking concepts and integrating them into a vehicle that'll get 100 miles per gallon. Well, I'm sure they're going to make a lot of cars like that, but it didn't fly, did it, 476? You never heard about that H2O car after it came out, did you? All those water-driven cars are all bought up by major oil companies, and then you never see them again. Well, I'm going to borrow those patents, that's all I'm saying, because I really think we need to do something. Even our U.S. postal fleet could actually run on regenerative braking and save us a tremendous amount of money. Okay, we got retailers across the country reeling from the economy. Retailers test paying by fingerprint. Oh. Biometric access is a very safe and secure way of doing it. Hey, as long as they're not RFID chipping me, I'm okay with that. But I don't really like using my fingerprint to buy anything. It's a violation of my privacy, frankly. Unless there's another option, it would be a violation of our Constitution for them to have a fingerprint-only system. Okay, guess 705. I'm not going to get into your little soap opera situation, Bo. Would you support tariffs on imported goods from China, raise prices on products from China to encourage U.S. manufacturing? Yes, bud, I would. I'm proposing a 15% ecological tariff across the board. Anybody who meets and complies with our standard of excellence will not pay the 15%. The standard will be very simple. We'll have to have a 15-minute in-camera edited video of their production process and disposal process. So when a company like China makes compact fluorescent bulbs that are full of mercury, they better have a plan to bring them back into their country, because I don't want them here in our landfills, or that 15% tariff will apply. Now, you're really out to lunch there, Bo. You're threatening to sue me now? Wow, I'm going to ban you. You're done, dude. And you'll never get unbanned. That's it for you. Well, no, we'll make no mistake about it. I never smoked crack with Larry Sinclair and Barack Obama in a limousine in Illinois. There was no three-way crack thing going on. I never smoked crack. I saw a guy base some cocaine out one time at a dorm room at UCLA. No, I've never done crack. Crack is whacked, man. Well, even the small amount of mercury in those compact fluorescent light bulbs, Chris, is dangerous. The point is, if they don't have a cradle-to-grave solution plan for their products that come streaming into this country and end up in landfills, then they're going to get hit with a 15% tariff, because we do need to spawn new business in America. No, that's not true. I don't ban everybody who has opinions against me. No, not at all. When you called me an effing idiot, then I banned you. You don't get it. You can come up with any issue you want, talk about it, have a disagreement with me on the issue without calling me names, without trying to demoralize people in this room. Texas Health Hospital System is using palm scans to ID patients. Interesting. Well, it's better than an RFID chip. I agree with that. You know, the RFID chipping of people based on the Obamacare Affordable Health Care Plan is crazy. I will not allow RFIDs to be used in the medical profession. I will have an executive order disallowing their use. I am not crazy. I am cool. Well, frankly, CFLs is a joke, Chris. Compact fluorescent light bulbs shouldn't even be manufactured right now in lieu of all the new LED technology that's gone forward. Every one of those companies needs to retool and create LED technology. I'm seeing compact fluorescent light bulbs 12 for $1 right now. And LEDs are selling for $4 or $5 a piece. They're way better than CFL, bud. LEDs don't produce any dirty energy. Compact fluorescent light bulbs produce a tremendous amount of radio frequency energy that is dangerous and can accumulate in your brain. And the new ones, right? I haven't even seen the Wi-Fi light bulbs. We'll stop producing compact fluorescent light bulbs in America. I will work with industry to help them transition to more efficient technologies like LED. Whatever I can do to help them make that transition. American companies. As far as foreign imports of CFLs into our country, they're going to be facing an import tariff. My God, I don't ban everybody. I only ban people that demoralize me. Do you not read the chat? Every single person that comes in here calling me names, I ban. Insane in the membrane. You control it via smartphone? Okay. Well, as long as it's safe. I have not really looked at the Wi-Fi light bulb. I'll take a look at the L-Fix. I've not even heard about it. That'd be a good thing for our Technology Thursday show. You know, I've always heard that fluorescents are dangerous. They cause cataracts. I've not yet to find a qualified scientific study that proves that fluorescents do that, but there is evidence that the radio frequencies do affect the brain. Our government's done very little to research the dangerous effects of radio frequencies. Makes me think that our government's asleep at the switch. Germany, they did a study on the radio frequencies and the digital airwaves from cell towers, and they found that kids that were living in valleys that had no cell towers were getting 30% better scores on their grades and had higher IQs in Germany. Isn't that interesting? So apparently when you bombard your brain with RF frequencies, driving around in this cell phone world, we're all getting scrambled brains as we're rolling along. And the government doesn't seem to care. That's why Barack Obama got rid of the analog signal for broadcast TV and replaced it with more digital cell phone towers and the digital spectrum. Crazy. Yes, I would definitely incentivize farmers to grow organic over GMO. Definitely. I have a program called the Reagrification of America. The Reagrification of America is a concept I came up with in 1977. I actually presented it at a Bank of America Awards regional competition, where I told these people at the desk, I said, we need to re-agrify our nation and get back to our common roots of good quality soil, no pun intended, but good quality soil and the idea of organic food production and divestiture of large corporate mega food business. And they told me that they didn't care, and they basically gave the award to somebody else. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I went into this competition for the Bank of America's Regional Competition Award in 1977, and everybody in the room said, "Wow, man, you're inspiring. That was awesome. You won it for sure." They were like patting me on the back when I walked out. Everybody in the room said, "You're awesome, man." I didn't even place third because corporate America can't digest what I'm talking about. Monsanto, Dow, these companies I've been fighting since I was 7 years old. In 1981, I started an organic food marketing business, which I sent all kinds of marketing material to every major grocery in America and briefed them on the importance of organic food. And in the process, I opened the door to organic food production and manufacturing. Companies like Safeway had never heard of organic food until I talked to their regional rep in Los Angeles, and then they started creating 200 different brands of organic food products. But Safeway just got bought up by Cerberus, a foreign-owned company that owns Albertsons and Safeway. They're no longer even an American company. We're losing our food companies. And you people who are wondering, wow, maybe I should just sit around here and ignore this guy because he's kind of an idiot. You're missing a huge opportunity to get behind a third party and join my administration. You guys can get behind this simply by talking about a third party right now. And this could mean a job for you in my administration. We could very well change the complexion of American politics with a brand new approach toward everything that makes sense fiscally, unlike Barack Obama, who wastes tons and tons of money. You made artificial profits investing in Monsanto? That's kind of weird, Security Monitor. Well, look, I just don't like a company that is engaged in surreptitious activities, pushing out GMO products everywhere and stopping scientific research on the dangers of GMOs and how they can create tumors in laboratory animals. Are you a laboratory animal, Ed? Slovakia or Georgia? Yeah, it's called rendition, Ed. Yeah, rendition is what the government's been doing under Bush and under Barack Obama as well. He never stopped rendition and torture. American Pie. You know, thanks, Richard, but we can't verify the actual origin of the protocols of Zion. It turns out somebody found it in a Xerox bin. Yeah, what was it, Bill Cooper who found it in a Xerox bin? That's not exactly a verifiable source, Richard, you know? Otherwise, I'd say, oh, yeah, sure. Thanks. Oh, right, it's an American company. Sure it is. You believe that? Okay. Right. Whew, wow. Can't believe this. Shell corporations. Very easy to fake foreign ownership. Dave, we have a president now that won't work with Congress. How would you be any different? It seems it has to be your way or the highway. Not at all, guest 388. I want to build a tripartisan approach to government. I'm done with the bipartisan approach. I want to try a little harder and build a tripartisan approach, where a third party tells the other two party, your political days are numbered if you don't get your act together and talk to me. Now, I wouldn't turn Republicans away when talking about health care. They will be invited into the office with the Democrats and we can hash this out. The weird sound was me tapping my tap here. See, like that. That's a weird sound. You're helping, David. That's nice. So all for three, yeah. We all sit together in a room and I'll be the arbiter, the third party arbiter. Core 2, I would love to have a lighthearted night of comedy and shenanigans. But I've got Ed pushing all these stories in front of me like he wants to cut and paste constantly. So I'm forced to read this crap. He's been arrested, the president of Newport News. Good. He identified himself as a police officer. Well, that's good. In Norfolk. That's good. Thanks, Ed. Well, at least I'm not in an airport bathroom in a stall with my legs out saying, no, I have a wide stance. Remember Senator Ted Craig? That was weird. But no, and he sat there with his wife saying, I've never done that, honey. Yeah, right, buddy. Sure. Well, Ed can't find a decent place to stay at all, Zena, and he's just in here because he's filling the time because he doesn't have anything to do. He goes online because his list is his life. Police brutality is on the rise, yes. Violence against citizens is increasing at an alarming rate. What would you do to curb this issue? Bud Smoker, 420. Thanks. I will instigate a national decree saying that any policeman who engages in brutality and is still on the payroll will automatically have cuts to the funding in every single city that does that. So if anybody engages in police brutality and isn't cut from the payroll and put on waivers and suspension, they will risk not getting any federal money at all. We'll cut their purse strings. That's the best thing I can do. And when money stops to these money mongers, these greedy money mongers in the police force, and there are a lot of them, believe me, we're going to see a huge backlash from the city police, and they're going to say, well, we better clean up our act, otherwise we're not going to get funding. Believe me, money talks, BS walks. Hi, Dave, love your show. Hey, guest 239, thank you. No, security monitor, I will not make state and local police officers federal police. I'm not trying to federalize anything. I'm not trying to create a bigger federal government. I like the nation-state model we live in. I'm a complete supporter of the nation-state model. I don't support a global world government. I don't want this takeover. The government has plans to literally take over all your city and local cops. The U.S. Army has all kinds of detailed plans that they've produced, integrating with the UN, mind you, to take over the country. Some people believe that the recent allowance of 5 million people to get work visas by Barack Obama is an attempt to get votes. But what's really interesting is a lot of those people who illegally came over the border, they probably aren't going to vote for anybody. All they care about is a free ride. Really. If they do vote, it'll be interesting. But they really shouldn't be voting in America. Only American citizens should vote. And it's interesting to see that Barack Obama believed that allowing 5 million people to get work visas is going to enlarge our tax base. So let me get this right. He wants to allow illegal aliens who came over here, jumped a fence, basically expect them to pay taxes. Oh, okay. I've got some oceanfront property in Kansas I'd like to sell you, Barack. Wow. Okay, what do we got here? Yeah, what about the drug cartels? Well, of course it's a serious problem, and we could deal with that with a 1,000-mile fence along the border. That fence will be lethal electric and will be built by illegal aliens. It's great. We're going to use prison labor. We've got about 400,000 illegal aliens in our prison system that cost us $25 billion a year. We're going to just put them down there at the border for a couple months, building the fence. And where is the fencing going to come from? Easy. It's coming from all the FEMA camps. You see, we've got FEMA camps all around the country with fencing around them. We don't need the fencing around the FEMA camps. That's right. So they'll be electrified, lethal electric along the border, and will be built by illegal aliens supervised by American citizens with good paying jobs. And when they get done building their 2-month time at the border, living in modular housing, we'll give them a free ticket out of the country. Now, this won't be true with capital criminals. And unlike Obama, I will not release 36,000 illegal aliens who are capital criminals into our city streets. I have nothing against Mexicans. No. I support the idea of trade with Mexico, but I don't think Mexico would like Americans coming over there. I know that if you went over there and tried to become a Mexican citizen, you could spend 2 years in jail down in Juarez. A word to the idiot named Guest 448. I will be president and you're a moron. Same with you, Guest 168. All right. Thank you for coming in. Try to never come back. I'd like to impeach Barack Obama. I really would. But we couldn't get the Republicans to pull the dingleberries out of their butt, let alone pass the Keystone Pipeline. I mean, seriously. On the grounds that he's a fraud, that he's violated executive privilege, that he's lied over 82 times to the American people. He put out fraudulent documents that he cannot verify are legitimate. His selective service document is clearly a forgery. Let's start there. Let's not even go past that. I mean, he's done so many bad things in this country, we could justify impeachment. It would be a walk in the park. But ironically, you cannot impeach an illegal alien from the office of the presidency because he doesn't even deserve to have the office. So technically, he's just committing fraud and has been occupying the presidency for 6 years. All the while, you've been standing there going, just give him another year and he'll do better. He passed this great immigration bill that allow us to have 5 million people standing on our corner looking for work. Do you people even think in the Democratic Party? Do you even have a brain in your head? Laura and I never did that. Well, you better get ready and put your galoshes on because I'm heading my way straight to the presidency. There's nothing you can do to stop it. Can you turn guest chat on? I love your sarcasm. That's good. He's only president because he's black. Yeah, remember Geraldine Ferraro, the former vice presidential candidate under Mondale? She actually said that. And Barack Obama was the first to use the R word. He called a former vice presidential candidate, Geraldine Ferraro, who's no longer living, by the way. He called her a racist for simply stating the truth. Yes, we can. Well, you voted for Gary, Bud, because he's a big investor in marijuana. Gary Johnson's a typical capitalist pig who wants to make money and profit from the growing of marijuana. I would rather it was legalized on a national level and we could all just start growing it in our closet. Okay, Dad, how do you feel about minefields at the border? No, I'm not a big Claymore mine supporter. Like Diana and John Denver, I do not support mines in the field. There are a lot better ways to keep people away from certain areas. Laser sightings with electric fencing is a far better solution. Okay, that is a derogatory statement and a bannable offense. Barack Obama is, yes, he's half white. His mother, the erotic dancer and movie star, Leslie Ann Dunham. Yeah, John Denver, yeah, he supported banning landmines. You didn't know that? Read his bio, man. Why do you think John Denver was killed? Flatulence. Take me home, country road, to the land I'm from, West Virginia. Mountain Mama. I love John Denver. I frequently watch his videos online. Well, there's a better chance for you to have you've got less of a chance of having a good bowel movement than I do of becoming president. You're going to be constipated the rest of your life and then grow up with hemorrhoids growing out of your mouth. Are you sure, Mad Dog? John Denver was a former Navy SEAL. Are you sure? I'm impressed. You know that his dad... That's right. Well, if you want to smoke, I have no problem with that. I do agree. Growing weed is a good industry, but being a profiteer and a capitalist and just trying to make money on weed, I think that's sick. A lot of you capitalist pigs that think we're going to legalize it so that you can get more money are brutally mistaken. Yeah, we're trying to build a tax base that will grow from the marijuana industry. We don't want to have a bunch of corrupt businessmen like you know who, the guy you voted for, to sit around profiting from that stuff left and right. It's ridiculous. When are we going to stop being such capitalist pigs and start realizing we need to start working on a plan to help more people, not less people? You give the Republicans their opportunity, and what do? Well, big business will solve everything. Big business only cares about profit. Goldman Sachs has proven that. But the thing is, the Democrats have allowed Goldman Sachs to profit too. These two parties are the problem. Whatever, John Denver. I like John Denver, period. Don't diss him. I mean, whatever he was, Show some respect. I'll tell you, you gotta show John Denver some respect. I mean, just the other day, he died in an experimental plane crash. Sing to you? Okay. Hey, Jude, don't let me down. Take a sad song and make it better. Okay, whatever. Thank you. John Denver's daddy was a coal miner's daughter. Not true. John Denver's dad flew jets at Roswell, New Mexico. John Denver's dad was a test pilot that flew jets, experimental jets that were reverse engineered from the alien forces. Okay, great. So Snopes has debunked the myth that he was a Green Beret along with Mr. Rogers. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I really don't believe that Mr. Rogers was a Green Beret. I don't get that. I mean, I don't even think he had tattoos on his arms. But the urban myth is that he had these on his arms and he wore sweaters to cover them because he was such a badass dude. All right. I just believe that if we look at reality, we're going to see some pretty harsh, ugly pictures. Let's take a look at some of the food produced overseas, brought into our country. You know that 50% of this food is being thrown away every day in America? Mr. Green Jeans was Eddie Van Halen's. Now, I believe that. That's interesting. In America, every day, 50% of the food produced or brought in, imported into our country is thrown in dumpsters, and it's not even composted. A lot of good vegetables. You probably walk into the market and you see these mindless guys who are just sitting there going, oh yeah, I'm going to pull that one out because it's got a blemish here. And instead over there, I've asked these guys, so what do you do with a lot of this fruit? In many cases, they just throw it in the dumpster. So I have a plan that will create a much better agricultural system in our country. And this is very, very important because with the anti-war rally comes discussion of our nation. My national composting plan will actually be a way in which you can have really cheap fertilizer in your area. And ultimately, they can make biodiesel at every one of these locations using hemp and marijuana as a solution to creating diesel. The trucks that pick up all the fruit and produce at the National Composting Plan will actually be running on biodiesel called hempoline. Now, when I say anti-war, I really am talking about a concept Let's see if I can bring it up here. Called Make Love Not War. Sarah's going to be coming in a little bit later. She's visiting a friend right now. No, every profit is okay. Profit is okay. Excessive profit is evil. Okay? Thank you. I said it. All right. That's where I'm coming from. I don't mind profit, but when I see Goldman Sachs give each one of their employees $500,000 a year for Christmas, and you get nothing, I cry foul. Okay? When I see executives or even common programmers at Google making $250,000 while you guys sit at home masturbating getting nothing, I cry foul. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it is real. It's a true picture of Fred Rogers flipping off kids. It's true. I have a picture of it if you'd like to take a look at it. So when I talk about food composting, it's really about getting our mind off of war, because war is the distraction. Would you rather look at a drone flying over your head or some plants growing in your backyard? Which would you prefer? I mean, think about it. How are we going to have a world that's safe and secure without these drones, but at the same time, why would we forget about the food we eat? I mean, we're missing the whole point here. You grow your own food, raise chickens for meat? Excellent, Bud Smoker. You seem like a nice guy. Well, you think that drones are cooler than food, and you're do you even know that vegetables don't grow in your market? A lot of kids, I turned it down, don't worry. A lot of kids think that vegetables grow in the vegetable department. They don't even know that they grow in the ground, and it takes a lot of work for farmers to grow these things. So when our local restaurants and markets are throwing away half their produce and not even discounting it, we've got a big disconnect here. We've got a problem our country's not solving. So I'd rather focus on making love, not war, and focus on our country's life support system, its food production. Barack Obama would rather start a war with Syria or Iran. You see where I'm coming from versus where the Democrats, Republicans are coming from? By my actions, I'm showing that the American people are stupid? No, by your actions, you're showing the American people are stupid. By you not getting behind a third party, you're living proof of the ignorance in our society right now. I have a garden. I spend a lot of time in the garden. It's very therapeutic to put your hands in the soil. And we'll have a beautiful organic garden, not like the four-square garden of pesticides that Michelle Obama has. Nope, transsexuals do not turn me on. I'm not at all aroused by Michelle Obama. Well, I'd like to play that for you, but unfortunately the Digital Copyright Millennium Act is in play, and no, I'm just kidding. I have fair use ability. I could play the Fred Rogers video, but whenever I play videos like that, the recording on Google automatically says it's banned in certain countries, which is not good. Well, frankly, I'm hating on the fact that you guys elected Obama, and I'm encapsulating your stupidity in your belief that Obama is going to somehow pull a rabbit out of his butthole in the next year. Exactly. Well, I guess I am hating on you because you voted for the guy, and you don't know what I'm talking about half the time. I was a Democrat for 30 years, but the Democratic Party has become the least democratic force in America. They don't even listen to their own people. They castigate them and vilify them in the foreign press and steal their signs like they did in my primary election. It's not the base. The base right now for the Democrats think that Hillary's going to get elected. I'm trying to pull you away from that base and wake up to the reality that you've made a big bad mistake voting for Obama. Okay? Yeah, stopping war, Obama, what have you done? Obama increased the troops in Afghanistan by 68,000 troops. And now they just announced that Afghanistan had a record bumper crop of opium, thanks to Barack Obama, and that the bumper crop led to 17% greater sales of heroin. that amazing? Thank you, Barack Obama, for bringing cheap heroin to the streets of America so that our young people can overdose. Do you think about this stuff at all? Do any of you think about it? Seriously, I'm not joking, Super Dave. These are real things you need to start thinking about. So by supporting this war machine, I'm glad you didn't vote, Ed, for the Obama-tard. You're in Iowa, not Florida? Okay, Richard, I need your votes. Richard, you've got an opportunity to actually make some money in Iowa. And I will pay $1 per signature if you can get 150 signatures from every county in your state. I need 1,500 signatures to get on the ballot. You could make $1,500. Seriously. I can even send you signs to get you started if you want. Dave, you went to 0 to 100 real quick. Word to Drizzle Drake. 0 to 100? What do you mean? I've been doing this for approximately 6 years, 3 hours a night. I've done 1,800 and some odd shows. We put over 6,000 hours into broadcasting. So what do you mean? 1,500. All right, let's pull this off. You guys aren't interested in that. So how would you make love, not war? Would you encourage Michelle Obama to come out of the closet? Would that be a first step for you? Yeah, how would you do it? I showed Sarah a picture of David Rothschild. Seriously. And she's like, he's cute. He's one of the industrial leaders of the world that is standing in the way of progress. He supports the Agenda 21 plan. He's cute. No, America doesn't owe me the president. America owes themselves an honest man to lead this nation. This guy's got a $17 billion disclosed income. God knows what his income is undisclosed. He's cute. I'd be scared to do that. The CIA has Joan Rivers assassinated for it. I'm not scared of anything, 587. Yeah, if they take me out tomorrow, no sweat off my shinny shin shin. Yeah, I've already lived a good life. I'm 54 years old. How many people retired at the age of 50? How many people have a wonderful woman in their life like Sarah? I've already had heaven presented to me on a platter. I've already lived the life, La Vida. If I get killed tomorrow, at least I'm surviving this nonsensical, tyrannical, totalitarian world that's evolving and moving on to the next dimension. Keystone is a good idea, and I'll tell you why. If we don't deal with the amount of oil coming out of the Alberta tar pits in America, we don't process and help Canada negotiate sales and work with that oil, it's going to go overseas. And guess what happens when tankers go overseas to China? They crash and break in the middle of the ocean. So again, environmentalists are going to create one of the worst oil disasters in history, just like they created the disaster in the Gulf of Mexico. And you're going, what do you mean? Environmentalists created the disaster in the Gulf of Mexico? Yeah, they did. They forced companies like BP to drill a mile off and a mile down when they should have been drilling right on the shore directly. Environmentalism is going to cost this world a devastating global environmental disaster. And I'm an environmentalist. I care about the environment. But they're so hell-bent on their own way or the highway that they never understood that industry is going to continue. And these environmentalists drive cars. They burn gas. What they are hypocrites. And they want their agenda or the highway. And I don't like that. Well, the Chinese are going to be taking the oil now that the Keystone Pipeline's not built. Isn't that great? So we can disagree on all this stuff. It's okay. She's being with a friend who she cares about who's sick right now. I know. We've got a lot of new innovations that we could create renewable energy solutions for our country that would completely take us off this war path that we're on. Yeah, there you go. That's a great article. Part-time jobs are putting people in poverty. Good article. Yeah. 7 million Americans are stuck in part-time jobs. Great. Thank you for that link. The BP oil disaster was staged to stop oil drilling by U.S. companies. Oil drilling hasn't been greater since the BP oil disaster. You don't know much about the Gulf of Mexico, do you? Barack Obama even approved all the drilling operations after the BP oil spill. BP never paid the $20 billion out. They only paid $9 billion of that money that they claimed that they were going to pay for restitution. And the oil is still floating underwater. Many people believe that the BP oil disaster was all about creating a Gulf of oil so that we didn't have anybody living there. So this is the telltale sign of a failing economy. Look at this. They are unable to get full-time work and the benefits and stability that comes with it. It's a constant struggle for these families and a worrying sign for America's recovery. Overall, U.S. unemployment has fallen steeply in the past year, but too many people can only find part-time positions. Boy, that says it all. Thank you. I don't believe BP oil disaster was a staged scenario at all. Fracking is, in the current form, is dangerous. No, it wasn't fake at all. Matthew Simmons died exposing the BP oil disaster. Matthew Simmons was the expert who went out of his way to talk about the oil spill. Let's listen into one of his conversations right before he died of a heart attack in his jacuzzi at the age of 67 from some unknown source.
On the phone, Matt Simmons, founder of the Ocean Energy Institute. What do you know about this cab, Matt?
Well, Dylan, I mean, the whole thing is just absurd. It all goes back to their concept that all of the oil that's now killed the Gulf of Mexico is coming out of some cracks in the drilling riser, as opposed to the open hole several miles away that's still spewing 120,000 barrels a day of oil, toxic oil, into the Gulf of Mexico. And I think enough's enough. I think it's time for our government to tell them, no, get off the air, stop your advertisements, stop deceiving the public, and put the military in charge and send a submarine down and actually find the open hole so we at least know where it is.
The government at this point seems to be working with BP, and I don't know that they even acknowledge the open hole that you're referencing.
Well, the senior guy at the Los Angeles Times published a story last week ago Sunday saying that he visited on Saturday afternoon with Secretary Chu and Secretary Salazar, and they showed him the sonar images they had of the BOP that they finally located and the pieces of casing that had pierced through 5 stories. So I'm not sure why they haven't made that more public. I think maybe they're just confused that they don't want to alarm people because BP is so certain that it's all coming from the drilling riser. It couldn't be a 6-inch annular or 7-inch annular, even though it's a mile long, could not have basically covered the Gulf of Mexico with 400 to 500 feet of this toxic oil. Could not, period.
But I guess the issue of acknowledging or denying the existence of the massive hole a few miles away as a result of the blowout.
Well, if they acknowledged it, they'd go to jail, and their fortunes would be over, so they can't. It's a big lie.
But are you suggesting the government is complicit in facilitating the lie, much as we saw with the financial industry?
I don't think they're intentionally doing it. I think they're just basically confused because so many people keep saying BP is such a good company.
All right, there you go. I mean, he was directly attacking BP and got away with it. You believe that Larry Sinclair was lying when he passed a lie detector test with 99% certainty? When he claimed Barack Obama and he had sex? So you're claiming a guy who passed a lie detector test with 99% certainty was lying when he said this?
Where Senator Obama exited the limousine with $250, which was provided to him by me. Returned a short while later with an 8-ball of cocaine, which he gave to me. I did ingest a couple of lines of cocaine, and shortly thereafter, Senator Obama produced a glass cylinder pipe and packet of crack cocaine from his pocket. Obama then smoked the crack cocaine. I performed fellatio on Senator Obama in the limousine during the time Senator Obama was smoking crack cocaine, after which I had the driver take me to my hotel, the Comfort Suites, Gurnee, Illinois.
There you go. So you're saying that was a lie, huh? Okay. Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Good. Well, Sarah's back. You'll be lucky to hear about that. Yeah. She doesn't. You don't have to hurry. Take your time. Okay. So I believe that the Gulf of Mexico should now be called the Gulf of Oil.
Well, I was just watching a show on the Gulf of Mexico, and they have beautiful white sand beaches in
Yes, they
Biloxi,
do.
Mississippi.
Yes, they do, and that's because they used a product called Corexit.
Actually, they shipped it in from
sand?
Florida.
They shipped the white sand from Florida, and they put it on Biloxi, Mississippi's shorelines to make it all pretty. They covered up all the oil slicks with pretty sand. And then they put Corexit on all the water so it would sink. And all that oil is down there now, killing off lots of ocean sea life, and nobody seems to care. Well, I can tell you it's a fact that Shell Oil just discovered $1.6 trillion worth of oil off the coast of, it's unbelievable, off the coast of Florida, and they're going to start drilling operations pretty soon. So when you say they've outlawed U.S. drilling off the coast, I see the article from the Washington Post. Talk is cheap, believe me. Hey, anybody making a demoralizing statement about me will be banned. Hey, look, it's David. He's not only a crackhead homosexual, yeah. I believe that you're probably a moron who supports the status quo and will wonder someday why you don't have a job and why America's lost all of its power. Many of you who still support the Democrats, Republicans mindlessly like a bunch of lapdogs and sheep, will probably never realize what hit you when you get carjacked in downtown Detroit. Alright? So enjoy your life right now, but you are watching a president neglect our nation's cities, neglect the problems with the races in various cities that are literally losing opportunity. He is turning his back on the African American people in Ferguson, Missouri right now. And you just sit there mindlessly accepting Obama. Yeah. And maybe you'll think Clinton will do a better job. Boy, are you out of it. Hey, Sarah, welcome to the show.
Where should I go?
I'm going to go over here. I'm going to bring you in over here.
Okay. Makes love, not war. I'd like that.
Yeah, we got that concept going tonight. This has been I talked about how our country could have national composting, how we could focus on bringing our troops home. I haven't even talked about that. If we brought our troops home, they could actually they could take the job of the TSA at airports and ports of entry. We wouldn't need to spend $7 billion a year for the TSA. Well, she just got out of the cold.
I'm not that cold, but I love scarves and sweaters, so.
Yeah.
Even when I'm not cold, I sometimes wear them.
Yep.
I know, right, Alf?
She's doing the chap lip thing. I'm glad, because it is chap lip time right now.
Yeah.
Well, I agree, and I support the citizens of Ferguson. I believe that Barack Obama is remiss in not passing any kind of federal maneuvers or executive orders to help the people of Ferguson. He's remiss. He's never there. He's 45 days late, like he was in the BP oil disaster. And when asked, why haven't you addressed this, he said, well, make no mistake about it. It's corporate politics.
So true, 476.
What's corporate politics? I never even heard that word until he mentioned it when he took 45 days to respond to an oil slick that was forming in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico and now is sitting there underwater.
It's like an Afghan, only shorter.
Our heat is on, yes. It's on right now inside of our bodies. I'm burning calories right now that I ate.
Me too.
He was on the golf course. He was preparing his new aircraft carrier, the USS Barack Obama.
Thanks, Reptilian.
Maybe you haven't seen it. It's quite the amazing ship that all of us would love to have. It's where he's going to have the ultimate golf game with himself. There it is. It's got 3 holes and a clubhouse with a live bar featuring his light beer and dark beer from the White House.
No, I did not knit this. I wouldn't be that talented. It's very cool. Scarf.
Oh, that is a cool scarf. Yeah, we got that at a store that has a lot of... Women are liking these scarves. They're really kind of nice. It's a 3-hole golf course called the USS Barack Obama. No, I don't ban anybody, and they're not nutty conspiracies. I only take people out. I ban them who are making demoralizing statements about our site. What do you not know about about degrading people. I mean, you're degrading us when you come in here making outrageous accusations that I'm a conspiracy theorist. My concern is that, yes, there are some things that do appear to be conspiracies. Would you argue that there are no conspiracies in the world? You must be a complete mindless idiot if you believe that. Of course, there are some conspiracies. Are they all out there on the internet? I doubt any of them necessarily are 100% true. But there's a shred of truth in everything you look at. Follow the truth, and you'll not get banned. I believe that conspiracy facts are existing right now, like the fact that, yes, they are using chemtrails to adjust climate patterns, working with HARP. It's a fact that they're doing that. If you want to dispel that fact, good luck. Go to geoengineeringwatch.org and you will find the truth about chemtrails and HARP and how it's affecting our weather patterns right now.
Can you talk about Project Bluebeam?
Not right now. We only talk about Project Bluebeam on Mondays, Conspiracy Monday.
Monday.
Right now we're talking about anti-war opinions and how to stop war, how to prevent the war dialogue that's going on between the Republicans and the Democrats, keeping people aware of how dangerous war can be. Hi, businessman.
Hi, Giraffe Brain.
I was live on the phone talking, yes. I take calls during the show. Right now, no one's been calling us.
But a few days ago, Businessman called us.
You saw the chemtrails from Florida to Iowa? I believe you did. We've got them up here because they're doing a lot of spraying down between Florida and Iowa, especially in Virginia.
That's a lot of driving in one day.
It is. And they're doing a lot of spraying down there, and they're doing a lot of spraying up here. And what they're doing is they're extracting all the moisture from the Midwest, dehydrating the entire Midwest, especially California. The entire drought in California can be attributed to chemtrails.
That's actually an interesting...
I'm going to let you talk for a while. I'm going to take a break. Thank you so much.
It's kind of scary to think that the U.S. government thinks China could take down the power grid.
Yeah, it's scary. Very
with
scary.
A cyber attack of all things, not even land in our country.
It's scary. They're telegraphing this like they're planning it.
A few times before they're
right.
grown,
Yeah.
but it's for them. So I found a way.
Who matters most to you says the most about you. At Mass Mutual, we're owned by our policyholders, and they matter most to us.
The nation's power grid. What are you...
Should I guess I shouldn't play that video, but you guys can go watch it. They basically say China and probably one or two other countries have the capability to shut down the nation's power grid and other critical infrastructures through a cyber attack. Admiral Michael Rogers, he also is head of U.S. Cyber Command, said the U.S. has detected malware from China and elsewhere on U.S. computer systems that affect the daily lives of every American. I know. One of the things with China, Asian markets have will not accept GMO modified wheat, which is one of the reasons that they have not allowed GMO wheat to be produced in the U.S. Now, there have been a couple of fields with GMO wheat in them, one particularly in Oregon, and then later some GMO wheat was found in Montana that was contaminated, and there's not supposed to be any GMO wheat being grown in the U.S. I mean, I know that they're researching the GMO wheat, but there's none legally is allowed to be grown in the United States. GMO does spread to infect non-GMO plants, but hopefully they don't try to control the cost, especially of the wheat, because farmers should be able to grow their own wheat. What's really cool is last week in our school we actually grew some wheat. So interesting. So they actually had little wheat seeds that they gave the students to grow wheat, and it takes about a couple weeks just to sprout it and have it turn green, and then about a year, I think it's 11 months till it actually grows the new wheat kernels and all that. Oh. Russia banned all GMOs. I like that about Russia. Why does why does Meghan Trainor sing like she was raised by... I have no idea why she sings that song. Who's the person that sings that song, Try? I like that song. You don't have to try. That's one of my new favorite songs. I really got over the whole... I got over... No, T-R-Y, Try. Have you guys heard that song? Oh, I would... Let it go. No, I really... It's all about, like, take your makeup off. When you look in the mirror, do you like yourself? 'Cause I like you. Do you like you? That song. Have you heard that? It's pretty cool. Processed cheese has wood fiber in it. Common core stuff. I like you too. Nobody takes kindly to threats. I'm sorry that you guys are threatening each other. Would it be better if I just purged you both and we can move on? I'm gonna find that song and then I will post a link to it in the room. How about that? I'm not gonna the whole message of the song is really, really good. Did I have a nice day? Yes, I did have a nice day. I went out shopping, but not for any clothes or anything. Today I went shopping for food, which was really good. So, and then I also went out. David took me out to dinner. Yes, David paid for it. So that was very nice of him. We went out to dinner and then we went out, did a little grocery shopping. So that was really nice. Are we married? No, we're not married. Yes. I'm the head of the purchasing department. Not quite, but I guess you can say that, Richard Einstein. I'm not perfect! Therefore I sinned. You know what a sin is. It's just meaning you don't get the perfect target in archery. Do David and I have any difference in opinions politically? Yes, we do. I don't like to focus on the Obamas. That's one of our differences politically. A sin is messing up and refusing to correct it. I don't consider what I'm doing with David a sin. I actually just believe that the government shouldn't be involved in people's personal relationships. I think it's Colby Kalat. Let me see this. I have to wait for the advertisements.
Just dance with the unicorn, shake it in your collar. You don't have to try.
Yeah, this is it. Let me get you guys a link. If you haven't heard this song, is that it? The same one? Yeah, you guys should all go listen to that song, especially if you're a woman. Same link, you and I were on the same page, Bobcat Bob. Isn't it really good? So you said this government shouldn't be involved in people's relationships, but yet you endorse and the government passes laws to do just that? Which ones do I endorse? The government might pass the laws to do just that, but I don't necessarily endorse all of the government laws that exist. Oh, I should download AdBlock Plus. Yes, if I had the correct browser, it would probably work. You don't have to listen to the song 639. I'm just saying I like this song. Yes, I agree. Bud Smoker 420. Yeah, it's you know, I think that there's a lot of things to focus on. I endorse common law, like common law marriages. No, I don't. Who says that I do? What, Ed is making threats? Oh, forcing people to eat organic foods? I don't want to force people to eat organic foods. No, I don't endorse gay marriage. No. I don't endorse marriage as a government as a government institution. My friend had numbness on the left side of their face. And the friend I went to visit had numbness on the left side of their face, so I went and visited, and they're fine. Fortunately, it was a mini stroke, so it just went away and they're fine. But they're still going to keep them for observation. I didn't say that I wasn't for gay rights. I said I wasn't for marriage as a government institution, regardless of someone's sexual orientation. See, when you talk about rights, I believe rights should apply to people regardless of their orientation. So, yes, I believe that everyone has certain rights, whether they are gay or straight. But that doesn't mean that I endorse gay marriage, because I don't believe in the government having marriage as a legal document. I believe that all of the legal things that are covered under a marriage can be covered individually. $31 million people? Whoa. That's a lot. That's amazing, Bobcat Bob. Yeah, or vice versa, 802, gold digging men to take advantage of women. Either way, I mean, that's one of the reasons, or gold digging men to take advantage of men, or et cetera, if you include gay marriage. I just don't believe in someone saying, I love you, now give me half your stuff. Yeah. Yes, I do stand by the choices of David. David has said, as far as I know, that he doesn't believe in government being involved in people's personal relationships either. Yes, I do think that should be an option to have a vaccine without those adjuvants, and so that people can say, I would prefer to have that kind of vaccine. Sure, I would love to have a ceremony with David, proclaiming my love for him forever. I proclaim my love for David forever. I'm always going to be with him. I'm always going to love him.
Thank you, Sarah. You're so sweet. Thank you. I love you too.
Yeah, exactly, Giraffe. You know, I just don't need a piece of paper to tell me that. I actually have 27, make that 100,000, no, make it about 1,000 kids.
Yeah. She's got lots of kids that she teaches, so.
All of the students I teach, I consider they're like my kids. It takes a village to raise a child, and I'm part of that village.
Scott's Brave says religion is the root cause of life's problems. Well, I believe in religious freedom, Scott's Brave. Yeah, so, I mean, if you believe that, that's fine. But don't tell people what they can and can't do with religion.
The marriage in the eyes of the church, I think that's a religious issue, and I think that's an individual issue. I don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem with marriage in the eyes of the government.
I don't use any internal drugs or anything like that. I'm not on any medication.
If I did quote Hillary Clinton, it was
Inadvertently.
Inadvertent. I didn't realize I was doing that.
I would make a good parent, but I don't want to take on the burden of and responsibility of parenthood right now while I'm running for president. I believe it would be distracting. That was Karl Marx that said that religion is the opiate of the people, not the opium. The opiate. Right.
Not right now, driven to blur. Maybe you're welcome to have
Well, their
David's
responsibility,
genes.
their financial burden, yes. Definitely. I don't really want that financial burden.
Hi, Demon Dave. I'm sorry, you're going to have to request me to say hello to you every evening.
He's very needy.
Personally.
He's apparently very...
When I say, hi, everyone, that includes you, Demon Dave.
Yeah. All right, so a lot of us here don't want war. I've often said, would I ever fight a foreign war? And I really, when I signed the Selective Service Document in 1983, in my mind I was saying, I hope we don't go to war unnecessarily. Because I don't want to fight foreign wars when they don't attack us. I will fight to defend this nation, no question about that, but I don't like the fact that so many wars have been fought when our nation has been the offender. Our nation has been the one precipitating the violence. It's very, really, all wars are unnecessary, and many people don't realize that behind every war is a banker, somebody trying to profit.
I think David might be editing some 463.
Okay, that's fine.
But I don't think he's going to do any more live shows. Love you too, Hammer.
Who? What was the question about live shows?
Okay.
No, I won't be doing any more live shows. I will be releasing a video coming up shortly, by Christmas for sure, but I'm hoping, right around Thanksgiving, I hope to have this video out. I'm working on it every day. Editing a 2-hour video down to 1 hour of the best of, and bringing in music and pictures and lots of fun stuff for you guys to look at. And I've also got a 3-minute dance video I'm building as well that's built off that same premise. That's pretty funny.
So sad, but true.
Yeah, copy that. Let's just right-click on that.
Save.
Actually, don't. It's from an encrypted file. Don't even go there. Let's not bother copying it. David, you won't be doing any more live shows, really? No, I do a show every night, but I'm talking about the Obamas, the blackface video.
He won't be doing a live show in blackface, but
Yeah.
he'll be doing a show in his normal, beautiful David face.
Right. The question about GMOs, I am 100% against GMOs. I will not partner up like Obama's done with Monsanto. We will confront Monsanto. And I will even lead the Justice Department in a ruling that I hope will overturn all of these ridiculous patent laws that are allowing Monsanto to sue farmers who happen to be in an adjoining farm growing corn, inadvertently being contaminated by hybridized GMO corn. We will not allow that to continue. I will lead. In fact, there's a Supreme Court precedent that I will get the Justice Department to use against Monsanto. And we will overturn all these ridiculous patent laws.
Yes, I do remember Obama said he would label GMO food. Now, at all the companies that don't have GMO food, they have to put on the labels non-GMO. Now, as far as wheat goes, it's not legal to grow GMO wheat, but there have been 2 fields at least that have been infected with GMO wheat.
It's cross-contaminating in the air. Wheat can grow very quickly, even if it's a particle of one seed can actually grow into another and hybridize. So what we're seeing right now is a trend in America to promote non-GMO labeling. I would recommend that companies that don't produce products with GMOs do it willingly, not mandatorily, but willingly. If they really want to sell their product as a non-GMO product, I'm sure there are people that would buy it for that reason. So it seems like a voluntary thing. The government doesn't even need to be involved in this. Now, the effort by Patrick Leahy to create a national organic food certification program failed over the past 20 years. And I believe that the government has allowed Monsanto and huge seed companies and Dow Chemical to really rule the roost on legislation, forcing companies to either put up with their requirements or not do business with them. It's a big mistake. We need to have more organic farmers. We need to bring back the small farm. We need a lot of things that will help this nation. No, I would never stop people with their own particular genetic framework from breeding. Of course not. I would recommend people, I have a plan we call the cash incentives for sterilization plan. And that's strictly voluntary. If with this plan ever takes hold in America, it would give people cash for having their tubes tied. It's no different than providing welfare to people right now. I mean, in a way, it's cheaper because we aren't creating a welfare class. We're trying to protect our national finances from being attacked, both with medical costs and education costs, from people that don't really want kids and are producing crack babies. I don't think that's the way to go. I think we really need to give people an opportunity to say, hey, we don't want kids, so yeah, they'll give them some cash.
That's
Why
pretty
not?
crazy, Bud Smoker. I'm sorry to hear that your dad had Agent Orange.
Oh my God. Yeah, see, Monsanto and Dow all produced chemical warfare agents in World War II. And when World War II ended, those companies retooled to deliver chemical warfare on the American consumer. That's right. GMOs make rats go sterile after 3 generations. And recently, Monsanto tried to suppress a great article published in a toxicology review. That's a cute little video. I haven't seen it yet. And the toxicology review purged the article, disclaimed that they had anything to do with the scientific study that showed that GMOs produce tumors in rats. So now there's no legitimate study that verifies it because Monsanto managed to rule it as inadmissible scientific junk science. Whatever. All right. I know.
I think I have seen it.
I've seen it before, yeah. And Dow Chemical used to say life itself would not be possible without chemicals. I mean, what? We couldn't survive without Roundup? I don't get that. Did you hear about people arriving illegally in Mexico from other countries in order to get their toes in the States? Yep. They're called Other Than Mexicans, OTMs. And it's a serious problem. Obama has opened the floodgates on all kinds of illegals coming into our country now. 5 million is just the starting number. He's encouraging 50 million people now by allowing work visas for 5. There'll be a tenfold problem as a result of this. All we would have to do is enforce the laws currently on the books to prosecute any employer that hires an illegal alien. And if we did that, automatically the illegal alien problem would begin to subside. Prosecuting people like Leona Helmsley when she hired an illegal woman to clean her house and said, oh, she could get away with it. She got 2 years. And I think she died in jail, if I'm not mistaken. Aspartame was developed as a rat poison and has been used heavily in our society now. When you go to a restaurant and see a little pink package, the 0-calorie package, that's rat poison. And that'll kill an anthill. If you go ahead and take a little pink package home with you, try it on an anthill. In one day, the anthill will all be dead. So the FDA approved that to be used in America for people. It shows you where the FDA is coming from. I will gut that department, fire everybody in the FDA, and rehire watchdog groups that have been patrolling the FDA as members of the FDA. We don't have good quality people in any of our departments anymore. We've got all kinds of cronies. We need a good cleanup of this nation, a good, serious cleanup. We need a good national colostomy, so to speak. But let's be clear. Robert, that mentality is self-propagating. Yeah. This idea that there's always going to be war, always, it's a self-propagating mentality. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you really believe that, maybe you should go pick a war with your neighbor or somebody. Yeah, FDA is run by Clarence Thomas, an ex-Monsanto employee. Case in point, thank you, Bud Smoker. It needs a good bowel movement. Our nation's financial district needs a good bowel movement. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to get back to the archaeological project. Good. Whatever that means. Yes, Roundup has lingering effects on our entire aquifer as well. Our water supply is affected by Roundup, and it's used almost everywhere. I had a discussion recently with a neighbor who walked up and said, I don't have any more problems with my weeds. I discovered this thing called Roundup. I said, yeah, and you're killing off the entire neighborhood. Thanks. Well, it works for me. Saves my back so I don't have to pull weeds. I thought to myself, dude, you'd be better off living in the weeds. Yeah, I think it can kill fish on contact. It does, Bud Smoker. It'll kill little frogs in my neighborhood, Roundup will. But the beauty about life itself is it can always come back from the dead. David, it's great in the Hindu Kush. The hashish is puka stuff. Okay, Skipper. Thanks for telling me. I don't believe aspartame is safe for humans. And for some reason, aspartame will kill an entire anthill. So if you're saying they can't digest it, I believe you're a little wrong there. I think they're digesting it and dying. Frankly, one of your friends just got, the 6 or 7-year-old dog just died of lymphatic cancer.
Yeah.
And so often I hear about people giving their dogs and cats flea dips in pesticides, and then a year later they develop kidney disorders or lymphatic cancer. There's so much connection between the toxicity in our environment and the cancer rates that it's not even funny. There's a direct connection, a direct correlation, but our government refuses to draw that link when it's obvious. Environmental stressors lead to cancer, period. I don't think I'm going to the Hindu Kush, thank you. A 7-year-old animal shouldn't be dying of cancer, but this is the second animal that died of the same particular breed of animal that died at 7 years in this woman's possession. I am a wealth of information. I thank you for coming in, 463, for sharing. There was a book, that's right, Bud Smoker, there was a book called The Cancer Industry. I have it on my bookshelf if you want me to go get it. It was written in 1979. And it details the incredible amount of money that they make on radiation therapy and chemotherapy. There's almost an incentive for doctors not to cure cancer. Thank you for that, Ooga Booga. We haven't bought a tankless water heater for our home here because I like a good 50-gallon water heater. And frankly, the tankless water heaters, as wonderful as they are, I just don't really want to spend another $1,200 to hook them up in every single point I want hot water. The right to bear arms has nothing to do with making love, not war. The right to bear arms involves personal defense and protection. against enemies. Believe me, every one of you is vulnerable to home invasion. Australia found out that the hard way. When they passed gun control laws, a year later, their home invasions increased by 60%. So I really believe that the Second Amendment meshes very, very well with the idea of peace. Just like a strong defense prevents people from attacking a country. I am so sick and tired of Democrats and Republicans running the show, Ooga Booga says, and I agree. I am sick and tired of that too. You love the tankless. Do you have a gas-operated tankless heater? Or are you running electric? I hear they're a lot more efficient. I'm concerned about... I'm concerned about my water in my pipes, though. And in the winter, where we are, if we have tankless water heaters in every point where our showers are, the water that goes to our pipes comes in ice cold. So theoretically, even if I've tankless water heaters throughout my house, theoretically my water pipes could freeze. I'm just telling you, it's better to push hot water through the whole system to keep my pipes in order. The ice will take down an entire plastic pipe system real quick. Well, if I just get one at right where the water heater is and run water through from there, makes sense, sure. It does save in the long run, I agree. Your 1940 tech with asbestos is very efficient, yeah. Okay, well, one tankless heater, but again, it's going to cost me at least $1,200 for a propane heater. And then, of course, I have to get a propane tank next to my house for the tankless propane heater, unless I go electric, which isn't as efficient. You see the problems I'm facing with going tankless water heater? All right, thank you. All right, but worth it in the long run. Okay, it's expensive, but worth it in the long run. Well, I'd rather live in a small trailer with a little tankless water heater myself. You know, I don't have a lot of needs. I'm a pretty simple guy. My pipes are insulated. But when you get sub-zero temperatures, even insulated pipes can freeze. Naughty or nice, good or bad? I don't know. Well, Demon Dave, invest now and save later. I'm going to wait till my water heater breaks. Then I'll fix it. I'm one of those old-fashioned guys that believes that if it's not broken, why fix it? Okay? Thank you. And I'm not paying that much more for a water heater than a tankless water heater. Could we change the subject? I don't think I can handle another discussion about tankless water heaters again. Let's talk about Camp David. Yeah. I probably will be vacationing there. Okay. Yeah, I don't plan on going on many vacations when I'm president. I'll be working 18-hour days, 6 days a week. On Sunday, we'll be probably vacationing at Camp David. No, Amber made an appearance earlier in the game show. No, I won't be playing golf at all. No golf for the next president. My last golf game was a incredible success. I don't want to relive that experience. I'm not a golfer. I hit a hole-in-one at the age of 13, and I haven't played golf since. I'm incredibly athletic. I can perform incredible feats athletically. I showed Sarah when we went to an Ace Hardware one time. There was a basketball hoop constructed to shoot free throws, and you get a 20% discount if you can make 3 free throws. And I hadn't played basketball in 25 years.
Yeah, he did this. It was amazing.
And I walked up to the hoop and I shot 3 free throws. Swish, swish, swish. I'm just natural. I could easily do that. No, my water heater is state of the art. We recently replaced it. And I don't plan on putting something in right now until it's broken. So could you drop the water heater discussion? Thank you. I'm 6'4" and 225 pounds. You better add another pound. I just ate a pound of food. All right. I wouldn't want to take on a guy like Barack Obama. He's a total flake. You know, I don't want to play basketball with a president that plays basketball. It makes no sense. This man should have been leading our nation, not spending time golfing and playing hoop with his friend Reggie Love. He's basically wasted 6 years of the time the American people gave him to help our nation. And now he's trying to slither around like a sneaky snake and screw our nation even more by allowing illegals to just float into our country. Sarah's 5'11". I'm 6'4". Let's talk about solutions, right? Well, it's expensive to find a hot water spring in your backyard, Ooga Booga. Good luck finding a location with a hot water spring in your backyard. Well, I would play a game of horse with Obama, but I'm afraid he'd be wasting my time and his. And I don't think I want to play with Reggie Love. He seems a little too flaky for me. No, I cannot. White men cannot jump. We're not allowed to. I took that seriously, that order, state order for white men not to jump. So I've never jumped since then. That movie came out. But I've got a great skyhook. I've mastered the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar skyhook. Yeah, I didn't drop out of college. I left in good standing as an honor student. Yeah, I could easily go back to college at any time. I just believe that what we need to offer kids is a 6-week to 6-month certification program in an area that they really are interested in. We don't need to waste time with all the breadth requirements and a 4-year education, or even a 2-year education is kind of superfluous. Look, I've got a humongous IQ, and I could have easily gone through college and popped out 4 PhDs. I met a guy once in my neighborhood that I went to college with in the late 70s. And I remembered him. He was in a wheelchair. He was a quadriplegic. And he told me that he had 4 PhDs that he'd got at UCLA. In the time that I skipped out of that school, he got 4 PhDs and spoke 3 languages. And I asked him, well, what's his goal in life? And he didn't have any. He liked to go to school. He was just a guy who liked to go to school and get PhDs. I mean, God love him. But he was a quad and he didn't have a lot of hope. I don't need 4 PhDs. I have an IQ. I don't need that. All right, so if a lot of you want to go to college, please go to college, but just don't waste your money on expensive schools right now because you won't get that back in real-world experience jobs. Unless you go to an Ivy League school and pay $50,000 a year, you're not going to get $200,000 paychecks. You'd be better off just learning programming right now in your backyard with your computer. And you probably could get a job right now. I understand Google is hiring high school dropouts. They just announced they're hiring a whole class of people that don't have degrees. But if you can code, they're all over that. Yeah, like Stephen Hawking. He pursued education his whole life just to justify his nonsensical statements. When you have a PhD, which I believe it says piled higher and deeper, you're able to BS people into believing that there's no God and that we should leave the planet like he does. No, I can't employ you because I'm not an employer. I said Google was hiring young college dropouts. I think Stephen Hawking is the antithesis of a genius. I believe he is the quintessential example of a person who's fallen into an abyss of cynicism. Kind of like the abyss of narcissism that John Edwards went down when he decided to cheat on his wife dying of cancer. Remember that? He said he'd fallen down an abyss of narcissism. Really sad. Okay, Google happens to be a good working mind manipulation by the government to make us all think that we have an open internet. It's really quite successful. They've managed to completely monitor the backbone of the Google network, and they've put all their sentinels in the key places to watch all social networks, all the while pretending like Google is a private corporation when it's probably been bought off many times over by the government. I've read a few of Noam Chomsky's writings. I tend to believe that he's toothless and unable to execute any plan to help improve society. Like many people, they come up with their critique of society, but they don't offer their solutions. I feel that many people have fallen into that category of no great new ideas. Oh, we got a person I got to ban here. Hang on. But yeah, I think he's very brilliant. No question about it. He's got a great mind. I'd love to debate issues with him, but I don't think we have time. Okay. Yep. Piled higher. We are great prescription writers. That's right. I only speak one language fluently. The Anunnaki. I'm learning English, though. I'm just kidding. Oh, man. I don't doubt one bit he's on the cam drunk, yeah. Samsonite, that's a derogatory statement, and I'm going to go ahead and ban you from the show. And you knew this was coming anyway. All right. When you say our conversation's incoherent, I'm responding to chat in a fluid and dynamic way. Oftentimes our discussions can waver and be somewhat tangential, but in no way is it incoherent. It's possible that someone who's watching our show who's mentally retarded doesn't understand a damn thing I'm saying, and they would imply that it's incoherent. Well, yeah, he's definitely an enemy of the state. He doesn't appear to have any citizenship documents that are legitimate. Obama cannot prove he was born in America. I am 1 point smarter than Einstein, it's true. You know, I don't buy into this political correctness garbage. The word mental retardation is a scientific analysis of a person's mental abilities. To soft sell it and create a euphemism to whitewash the whole thing is irrelevant. The study of mental retardation dates back over 150 years. Some people are mentally retarded. Retard is to be late, right? You're late in coming up with an answer. So you would be a retard. Or as Borat called, I'm retard. Tempted by a gypsy woman. Well, no, Obama doesn't speak like I do, Robert. Obama needs a teleprompter to speak. When in front of a crowd of people, he's unable to articulate words without stumbling. I'm able to speak fluently. Obama must refer to the teleprompter whenever crossed with a tough question that isn't prepped well in advance. Every single speech Obama's had, including his 2 press conferences he's had in his entire administration. I mean, Richard Nixon had more press conferences than Obama. Everyone has had pre-scripted questions delivered to his staff days in advance. He has many accents, yes. He changes his accent depending on who he's talking to. Retard. This machine turns water into gas, and I can't even hit the link because you haven't joined Vaughn, and resistance is futile. You need to join Vaughn in order to get your links in here. Super Dave. Thank you. I don't think you could say that. I am doing the most brilliant thing a person with 185 IQ can possibly do. Let me ask you a simple question. If you possessed an infinite level of intelligence, and I don't, but if you did, couldn't you or wouldn't you feel stifled if you weren't able to get that message across? Wouldn't you feel like you were unable to help the world? Well, that's the story of my life. I have brilliant ideas that could easily help our country, that would not ever be heard if I didn't talk to the American people on a nightly basis. My room has many mansions. The N-word is something that I'm particularly concerned about because so many people call me a racist. And I want everyone to know that I've never used the N-word in my life to insult anybody. I'm not Jesus, no. I'm David. I'm not David of Nazareth, no. What is the First Lady upset about? Is it that she's being accused of being a transgender or what? We're not talking about craziness here. I'm not crazy at all. I'm very grounded, and I really believe I could help the nation if I were president. I wouldn't be running for president if I couldn't help the nation. I am a person who can think quickly on my feet and respond to major crises with solutions that are practical and can be conveyed to everybody you talk to. Like our homestead renewal plan. Simple plan to fix up old houses and make shovel-ready jobs. Connect the dots. It's really, really simple. Yet it's very intelligent. Now that is a derogatory statement that deserves a ban. Not only can I do that every day. I have a good bowel movement every day, which means I'm healthy. Yeah. Somebody said I couldn't do crap. Okay. The more you drink, the faster you get. That's an illusion of your senses. You believe things are faster because you're inebriated. Yes, I had a friend of 35 years that I've since ended the relationship, and I did it because he put his hand on my knee and said, "David, I love you." And I said, "Yeah, man, I love you too." And I moved his hand off my knee, and I said, "I love you too, man." He said, "No, David, I really love you." That's when Sarah had to sit between us. My Stanford Binet is not low, by any means. It's just not 185. I wanted to give you the best possible chance of seeing who I am. So I gave you a reading from a cognitive reasoning IQ exam that I took in 1977, which said, and I have it written down, and I even have the test, that I have 185 IQ. It's all in my Cume folder. It's locked up at my, I guess the high school that I went to. Bobby, I'm not making lasagna because I think there's too much salt in your recipe. Yeah, I'm boycotting your lasagna right now, Bobby. Do you realize that salt causes hardening of the arteries? And I believe your recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of salt in your lasagna. There's already salt in the tomato sauce, big time. You should use non-salted tomato sauce when making it. No, I'm serious, man. You don't want to give everybody a heart attack. It's like, "Bobby, it tastes great, but I'm getting chest pain." I know it's the best in the world because you use a lot of salt. I'm just trying to help you out here, Bobby. Wow. Day of the third party is the same way as the third way? No. No, and we're not like the third position either. We are a party dedicated to independent political thought and combining the best of both parties into one party. I'm socially liberal and fiscally conservative, and I bring to the table a desire to compromise, whereas Obama brings to the table a hellacious megalomaniacal ego with no ability to talk to anybody about any issues, intelligently. Speaker of the House Boehner said it was like negotiating with a bowl of Jell-O. There is no reality to my political career. It's growing by the minute. I'm creating my reality. We are just going around it circuitously so that we can arrive at the goal of reaching into the mainstream media and pulling their gonads. We can't do that right now when we've got a bunch of suckasses running our country into the ground who kiss ass all the time like the Democrats and Republicans. Sarah's working on looking at websites right now while I'm talking.
I was looking at gifts. There's a really cool gift. It's called a Quarterly.
Libertarians are not centrists. Company. Oh, Quarterly Company?
Yeah, they do these subscription boxes. So you subscribe for like $50 a quarter every 3 months or something.
Bud Smoker, what are your comments? Oh, so you subscribe and they give you things?
And then they send you like random boxes of surprise items.
That's really sad.
You sign up for the person that you want to get their boxes, stuff like Bill Nye the Science Guy or...
Well, this is the deal. Libtards, or libertarians as you like to call them, they really don't understand that, right, if given free rein, business will become completely fascist. But in a way, the Democrats have become completely fascist too.
Why do?
But worse than that, the Democrats have become national socialists, which make them even more dangerous. Libertarians are great in that they want to eliminate the big government aspects of our nation. I like that. I really do. I want to get rid of a lot of federal employees that are sitting sucking off the tax dollar and they don't do a damn thing.
No, but I need to get a new stapler.
Why? We have staplers here, big time. What do you mean? All our staplers work great. What are you talking about? I don't understand.
I don't want to ruin your stapler.
Well, we got 2 staplers. You can take one of them with you if you want to use it because it's built to last. It was built in America.
Oh, no.
The USA is a subsidized socialist society, unfortunately.
And I want it to last.
Well, it's built to last. It's made in America, I'm telling you. You're the cheap bastard, Meow TV. And to think you thought cats weren't originally created in Egypt. Wow. And you call yourself a catologist? Seriously, dude. You better recheck your BS pattern. It's flying low and off to the right. No, Sarah's not been too materialistic. She's like me. She kind of looks for the best value she can. You know,
Yes.
personally, I understand Richard Einstein is angry about certain things. Basically, Michelle Obama's gender is irrelevant at this point, other than the fact that if she's been hiding her gender for so long, then she would be a liar. And that is a problem. We don't need liars for presidents and first transgenders. Yeah, capitalists with a conscience, but the fact that libertarians want to get rid of all government is a very big concern to me, because government is the only avenue by which people can lead their nation and be of and by the people. We can't produce any opportunity if we don't have a little government hand up.
Thank you, Skipper, for standing behind us, David.
735, I voted for a guy named David Sponheim in the 2008 election and the 2012 election. I understand he's running an independent campaign for president. Well, if you believe a third party's going to fail, then just sit back and watch while we rise to power, you freak. David, you realize what you just said, or you just far gone your dimension that you can't read Wikipedia without its dimension? No, it's true. Cats were originally created and domesticated in Egypt over 10,000 years ago. Okay, and you're the idiot. That's like third grade elementary school information, man. I was born 100 years too early, I was. It's just sad that you think you have a degree in catology. It's hilarious. You're standing with Johnny Walken? Are you sure it's not Walker? I'm not talking about wild cats. I mean, I'm talking about domesticated cats. Amber is from Egypt. She has the genetics that date back to the time of Cleopatra. How are you going to pay? What are you going to do when you get what you go? Did you hear that Christopher Walken is going to be pursued? That's what the Globe says. They're looking into him and the other guy that ended up being with the wonderful and beautiful Natalie Wood, who died at a young age. So it turns out Christopher Walken already has an attorney set up to defend him. Okay. You can't verify that. You cannot verify that cats have been domesticated since prehistoric time. You can't verify that at all.
Here it is. Genetic and archaeological findings hint that wild cats became house cats earlier and in a different place than previously thought. It is by turns. Let's see.
Okay, now that we can get rid of the junk science, we can talk about other subjects like stopping wars. It's nice to have people who think that they can do archaeological tests on carbon dating and garbage that doesn't even validate what I'm saying.
Scholars long believed that ancient Egyptians were the first to keep cats as pets, starting around 3,600 years ago.
Actually, 10,000 BC is when I anticipated the beginning of the cat dynasty.
But genetic and archaeological discoveries made over the past, this was in 2009, in the past dozen years, in the past 10 years.
Hang on, I gotta ban this freak. You are worthless because you don't understand the dynamic of a corrupt political system, Acumi. Yeah, our system won't allow a local political movement like a third party. We've got cheaters and corrupt people running elections right now. My recent primary proved it when I got over 4,200 votes and the Republicans and Democrats stole my signs. 90% of my signs were stolen throughout the entire race. You can't start a local campaign like this. It doesn't work. I'm telling you. If you are so far gone, if you think that our country is pure as a virgin snow, and you think that everybody in politics is an honest person, you are a complete dim-witted idiot. I don't know how clowning for nefarious reasons is a big deal, you're a grave digger. You know, I've never met a person who was clowning around that was dangerous. Are you talking about cloning? No, I'm talking about libtards. You know, the fact is, libertarians who have become so negative about the government actually are absolutely of no value to a government that could function. Now, I would ask all libertarians to recognize that we need to do something, albeit efficient government, that doesn't intrude upon individual freedom, and then we can have a conversation. But I'm not going to be able to have a conversation with saying, oh, you're full of crap. Government will never work. You're just like all the rest. You're an idiot. No, no, it doesn't matter, but I'm calling libertarians libtards now too. I've adapted a new slang. I'm calling Democrats, libertarians, libtards, and now I'm creating my own slang for what we call centrism. Doesn't even matter. Does it even matter at this point? Really? We're already down the toilet and gargling on big turds flying our way. It's just a matter of time before our entire economy crashes, especially when the government, the CIA announced just yesterday that our government's going to face a 25-year depression. Gee, and we weren't talking about that the past 6 years while Obama dug us a grave and then flushed the toilet on our nation? Wow. Thanks, CIA. Boy, they're really helping us here, aren't they? Whatever. You know, Robert, libertarians, they're good people. They really are. And I know a lot of good liberals. But I've never met a good liberal libertarian. Well, you couldn't have voted for Ralph Nader.
Wow.
He couldn't have gotten out of bed quick enough to answer the teleprompter. I mean, seriously. You need a young, vibrant man. I'm 54 years old. I'm ready to go. Do you want to go hire some old guy with crusty nostril hairs? I mean, seriously. I'm a metrosexual. I actually trim my nostril hairs. God. Yeah, you don't need a guy ready to go to the casket. Vibrant? Well, the veneers are vibrant. I'm vibrant. Thanks for coming in. You want somebody younger than 54 who looks better than me? I look better than most of the guys that are 35 years old. Thanks, Robert. We're getting better every night. No, I don't have any kind of rectal plastic surgery done to look more cosmetically perfect. Anyone who thinks that cosmetic surgery for their rectum is going to get them a boyfriend or girlfriend is insane. I cannot be a clone. Nobody could possibly talk like I do and be a clone. All right. I'm telling you that if you don't get a guy with great ideas and acerbic wit in the presidency in the next 2 years, we're going to be facing the same old lame duck idiots who don't have any solutions, never going to give you opportunity, never going to give you a penny out of the government's money to get you a hand up and a way to start your life. Our government doesn't give out American citizens business loans very often. They give out refugees business loans. That's why our country's facing all these refugees coming into the country, starting liquor stores and gas stations who can't speak English.
Yes, we will be doing a show on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm doing a Thanksgiving show. I'll be the turkey. Are you morphing our faces together? We don't have a national barrier on caretaking the White House lawn. Our White House lawn will be managed by goats, not human. We're going to simply have a large group of goats sitting out there munching the grass. And then we'll serve goat stew during our buffet hour. I will not accept the vice presidency unless somebody else offers it to me. Now, if Barack Obama, something were to happen to him and Joe Biden became president in the final year of his presidency, I would consider a vice president position under Joe Biden. You can tell Joe I said that. I like Joe. I was one of his only supporters on his blog when he was running for president in 2008. He's running again for 2016, Joe Biden. I'll talk to him, yeah, if he I doubt he's going to win the ticket. I mean, they're talking about Elizabeth Warren winning the ticket for the Democrats. If that isn't the epitome of corruption, I don't know what is. I mean, a woman that lies about her Cherokee Indian background, commits fraud to get an education and become a U.S. senator, supporting a Democratic Party that seems to like to cheat and steal to retain power. This is perfect. And of course, we got Hillary, the lame duck future president of America. I don't have to just rake on Joe Biden at this point. He hasn't had a chance to do anything. You think he's insane? Well, I have some credible evidence that Joe Biden has math problems. No question about it. I mean,
Okay, here.
Sarah, you're going to say goodnight?
No,
Okay.
I'm just going to see if. Why do you have a picture like that?
What, this?
Yeah, that's disturbing.
Well, is it as disturbing as this? Your president blowing a kiss.
No, it's more disturbing than that.
Blowing a kiss to a guy he had relations with in the White House. I mean, tell me this isn't the weirdest thing ever. Okay. I'm a metrosexual. That's not something I'm ashamed of. I just want to show you. No, it's just, I'll show you the picture.
No, please don't.
Okay.
Please delete it.
Okay, I'll delete it. As per your request. I normally have factual pictures here.
Yeah, that's just a weirdo.
But I mean, somebody sent me this picture saying this is the Area 51 reverse engineered alien spacecraft.
I don't know what that is, but...
Well, I said, well, really? And he said, yes, it's top secret. You're not allowed to have that. And I said, oh, I better not show that to anybody.
And then he shows it all the time.
All right.
That's from the TV series Taken.
Oh, really? It was artificially created? Boy, you know everything, Meow TV. Gosh, you're so smart. Yeah. You're a definite smart feller. No, I don't have any selfies of myself.
Thank you, 764.
I've never done that.
What's a good one, right?
Whatever. See, they screen cap your yawns. It's terrible.
I'm sorry, I yawned.
You don't have to be sorry.
It's actually normal.
It's a normal thing. I'll look at all those things that we have open. Get rid of a few of them. Criminy. That's good. We got 24 gigs of RAM. Did you see this? This shows all the flight patterns across the country of jets. Look at that. Let me bring it into the show. Cool. Check this out, folks. This came in at the beginning of our show. No, that's not it. This is the article. Let me show it to you. These are flight patterns across the country, constantly going on.
Area.
No, it's pretty much everything that's going on. Yeah, it is the whole U.S. Our little areas, they show the flights where the chemtrails are flying, but look at all the chemtrails over Virginia. I mean, all the flight paths over Virginia. Well, what I do on Saturday night is to do a show because I'm dedicated to our show. Yeah, you should not be eating ice cream if you're a diabetic. It's full of sugar. You're going to get a very bad headache, and you'll really regret it. Those are not mosquitoes. That's amazing. Those are actual flights of jets. You know better than to eat ice cream. Don't tell me you're unaware of the dangers. Okay, thank you. I've seen a lot of water heaters for sale with houses. Look at my teeth are on the Vaughn network.
I know. Can you give them a link to this?
Yes, here's the link to the Facebook page that has all the flight patterns that I just showed you on screen. There you go. Okay, I'll finish up the show. I got 2 more minutes. Thank you, Sarah, for coming in. Or are we about to end the show? Okay. Well, we all look very radiant tonight. Yeah. No, Hophead, we don't support communism here. No country in the world has been a successful communist nation. It's all about corruption. Corruption has taken over so much of our political system in America and in every other country, especially communist nations. So a lot of people, journalists, want to occupy the skies with cheap drones. Yeah, I'm against that. Okay.
No, I feel happy.
Isn't this the Communist Party campaign?
Shame.
No, Reverend Brewer, we are not communists. Thank you, Robert. No, we're not. We're third party. You're misspelling our name. I'm for civilian drones that do not survey. No surveillance of any U.S. citizen, domestic surveillance. I don't mind, I really don't mind Amazon Prime or delivering from their procurement center in a drone. They will need to use video navigation to get to their destination, but I do not want them doing surveillance. That's my argument. And I believe that people like Rand Paul are breaking down our privacy and allowing this totalitarian police state to form. If you don't recognize the dangers of a totalitarian police state, you need to go back to World War II and look at how Hitler handled the ethnic minority problem and begin to ask yourself, do you want that in America? Because that's what's coming.
Email him, Bud Smoker, americasthirdparty@gmail.com.
I seriously wouldn't doubt that, Jason. Thanks for coming in, Jason. I understand you're working on a new film. Matt Damon is in the room. Jason Dwarren, welcome, Matt Damon.
Take care, everybody.
Take care, everybody. I dislike GMOs. I told you that for the past 2 hours. If you haven't seen our 3-hour broadcast, check us out at americasthirdparty.com. It'll play. Hi, Matt. I saw your house up for sale. It's pretty cool. Matt Damon, everybody, came in. Nice of him to come in our show. Yeah, pretty cool. Here's the person who wants to take the Democratic ticket and lead the nation. Yeah, she's a real strong person. Not. Yeah, can you imagine cowering like that? Matt Damon is the guy who was in The Bourne Supremacy and all those other great movies. The problem with the two parties really boils down to they're beginning to sound like Hitler. But look at this statement that Lindsey Graham made. That bi-curious senator. Or I didn't say bi-curious, I mean that senator. If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. The very same thing was said in reverse by Joseph Goebbels, the minister of propaganda under Hitler. You have nothing to fear if you have nothing to hide. Yeah. So look at Hillary too. Boy, she's part of the corporate military industrial complex. I'm not a Harvard guy. No, I was rejected from Harvard because of affirmative action. I'm not a communist. I actually fought communism in the 1970s. It was one of the reasons why I left college, because I couldn't stand the communist professors at UCLA. It is a scary picture that she could even think about running our country. Yeah, I hate communism, and I hate fascism. And I hate national socialists who want to turn a socialist economy into something that supports corporations, like Obama did with Obamacare, funding the huge increase in profits for Humana and Cigna and Blue Cross Blue Shield. Those guys are really on the take, and they're using Obama like a good puppet that he is. Yes, UCLA is communist, you idiot. It's been noted by many, many experts that UCLA academics are majority of communists, Marxists. I'm not in favor of socialism. My flat tax does not attack rich people. In fact, I have a 10% tax on everything above 100,000 that would be very beneficial for rich people, ironically. The show started already, Rodney. What took you so long? Are you like completely burnt out? He has to come in as a guest. Look at that, folks. Guest 322, a.k.a. Rodney. Wow. David, if you said it was a true communist fascist Obama would just come into your home and put a bullet in your head, you are so wrong, David. Wow. You are so wrong. Tell that to Michael Hastings, who basically had an RPG take out his car for writing an investigative journalist piece on Benghazi. Yeah. You didn't know about the kill list that's going on right now in our country? You didn't know about that? Wow. A lot of you just don't realize how dangerous it is to live in America and do investigative journalism. Amazing. Yeah, poor Michael Hastings was literally killed driving at 4:30 in the morning about a year and a half ago. Melrose in Florence, taken out in his car. Check this story out and I ask you a simple question. If you don't think people are being killed right now in America for what they believe in, look at this.
In Hollywood early this morning. Rolling Stone.
And I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. I'll see you guys on Monday for Conspiracy Monday.
His reporting, you may remember, is credited with bringing down the career of General Stanley McChrystal.
KTLA 5's Dave Meekin live in Hancock Park tonight. He's got more on this story. Hello, Dave.
Hello. In terms of LA, 117 at this hour, but in terms of Rolling Stone magazine, as you just heard, and then the website BuzzFeed, both reporting that this driver, was one of their own. Rolling Stone magazine called Michael Hastings a fearless journalist who refused to cozy up to power. His death at 33 came by way of a fire-fueled and explosive crash where Hancock Park meets Hollywood there at Highland and Melrose.
It sounded like a bomb went off in the middle of the night. My house shook, the windows were rattling.
Hastings was a 2010 Polk Award winner for magazine reporting. He was alone in what investigators say was a brand new Mercedes.
I couldn't have written a scene like this for a movie where the engine flies from the car, which was about, 50, 60 yards up, right down here to this telephone pole.
That from a longtime Hollywood producer Gary Grossman. Well, about 4:30 in the morning, his neighbor and a garden hose, and all they were up against. No other vehicles were involved in this crash. Up against that palm tree, Hastings, meanwhile, will likely partially be remembered in journalism circles for taking down the career of General Stanley McChrystal, the then Supreme Commander of the U.S.-led war effort in Afghanistan. That was by way of his reporting in Rolling Stone magazine. In fact, live at Vantage Point northbound on Highland, a lot of Angelinos recognize that Vantage Point. Melrose at Highland, the group Hatzalah, the Jewish group here in the neighborhood, they were first responders for them here, blocking traffic, doing what they could, waiting for the fire department at that early morning hour, about 4:30 this morning in Hancock Park. David
email. You knew full well that these Sunday show appearances were going to be dominated by the attack in Benghazi, right? As they were.
We certainly knew that would be a big part of the shows.
The primary thrust of those shows.
John,
you just had an attack on a U.S. consulate in Benghazi. You had Americans killed. You knew full well that what Susan Rice was primarily going to be asked about was about that attack, a terrorist attack on a U.S. consulate in Benghazi.
Can I read the promo from your show, ABC This Week?
All the promos you want. You acknowledge that this was going to be about the Benghazi attack?
John, absolutely. And that's why, as members of Congress did, Ambassador Rice relied on points about the Benghazi attack that were produced by the CIA. Hold on. As American embassies throughout the region remain under fire, that's ABC This Week promo. Again, we prepare Q&As for administration officials based on what we think they're going to be asked. When I come out here, hold on, John, let me finish my sentence at least. When I come out here, when officials go out on daily shows or the Sunday shows, we have to anticipate what they're going to be asked. It is often forgotten that during that time period, there was an enormous amount of attention and focus, appropriately, on the fact that there were protesters, sometimes violent protesters, surrounding U.S. embassies, causing us to draw down personnel at those embassies, causing great concern, understandably, about the safety of American personnel at other diplomatic facilities around the Muslim world. And that was a focus of a great deal of press attention, and thus would be, as the promos indicate, one of the areas of focus of those Sunday shows. And so a Q&A was prepared for that, as is the case every Sunday. What was also the case is that Ambassador Rice was, on the matter of Benghazi, relying on talking points that were originally created for members of Congress at the request of members of Congress so that they could go on television and talk about what happened in Benghazi.
Ambassador Rice went on those shows and she said that the attack in Benghazi was rooted in protests over an internet video. We now know that that was not true, that in fact the CIA director, former director Morell, just testified last month that, quote, when she talked about the video, my reaction was, that's not something the analysts have attributed this attack to. It did not come from the CIA. You stood there at the podium time after time and said that she was referring to talking points created by the CIA. Now we see a document that comes from the White House, not from the CIA, attributing the protests to the video. And we have the former director of the CIA saying that that was not something that his analysts had attributed to.
John, I would point you to what Mike Morell has said repeatedly in testimony about the creation of the talking points.
Well, now we have new
Let me
talking
finish,
points,
please.
You didn't release.
John, I answered that question. The fact of the matter is, there were protests in the region. The talking points cited protests at that facility. The connection between protests and video, and the video turned out not to be the case, but it was based on the best information that we had, and the fact that there were protests.
Not based on what the CIA was saying,
John,
Jay.
I would point you to. I understand the.
This is what Morell said just last month. That when he heard that, he said that is not something our analysts have said.
What
so that now we see came from the White House, right?
John, no, you're wrong. If you look at that document that we're talking about today was about the overall environment in the Muslim world. The protests outside of Khartoum, the embassy in Khartoum, outside of the embassy in Tunis, the protests outside of the embassy in Cairo. These were big stories. This was a big problem. This was an ongoing story through that weekend when Ambassador Rice appeared on the Sunday show. So to suggest that we wouldn't have answers to questions about those situations, and unless you're telling me now that those protests didn't have anything to do with the video, it was entirely appropriate to have a question and answer document prepared for the video. When it comes to, John, let me finish.
Did those shows say that the attack at Benghazi was rooted in a protest over the video? That's what she said.
I know that you and I are both in a different time zone right now, but we're still in April of 2014, and this is a discussion about what she said and what turned out to be the case that we have had dozens of times in this room. And the fact of the matter is, she went out there with the best information that we had at the time. The CIA deputy director has testified to that. The fact that there were protests around the region threatening our embassies at the very same time is something that is often forgotten, but obviously affected the whole environment about how we perceived what was happening at the time. And again, the implication is that we were somehow holding back information, when in fact we were simply saying what we thought was right. And when elements of that turned out not to be true, we were the first people to say so. It was based on what we knew at the time.
Why were you holding back this information? Why was this email not turned over to the Congress? Why was it not released when you released all the other emails? This is directly relevant. Why did you hold it back?
John, again.
Why did it take a court case for you to release this email?
John, I can say it again and again, and I know you can keep asking again and again. This document was not about Benghazi.
It was your prep for the Sunday
It wasn't her only prep, John. She relied on, for her answers on Benghazi, on the document prepared by the CIA, as did members of Congress. We, the White House rather, and others involved in her prep, said when it comes to Benghazi, there's been a document prepared by the IC so that everybody is working off the same information. Republicans in Congress, Democrats in Congress, administration officials. This is what we know and what we are able to say about Benghazi at this time, and that's what she got. On all these other questions, as is the case for every Sunday when the Treasury Secretary goes out, when the Deputy National Security Advisor goes out, when other administration officials go out. Documents are prepared that anticipate questions from the press and provide answers based on our policy and our best understanding of what's happening at the time. That's standard operating procedure. And if you look at the document in question here, it is not about Benghazi, it is about the protests around the Muslim world outside of U.S. embassies and what we know about them and what we should say about them based on our policies.
There's one last question, just in the interest of clearing the record. You said at the podium last year that the talking points that Susan Rice used for those Sunday show appearances were a product of the intelligence community, that the White House and the State Department only changed one word. We now know, obviously we've known for some time, that is not true. Can you correct the record on that?
Well, John, for the last time, there were talking points prepared on Benghazi. There were talking points prepared on the overall matter, the overall dynamic in the Muslim world about protests. The White House had a role in that document, obviously, as this release makes clear, as the White House does every time a senior administration official appears on the Sunday shows, as was the case in the Bush administration, in the Clinton administration, in the first Bush administration, going back to the advent of television, I dare say. So that's always going to be the case.
You're not going to correct the record on that?
John, when it comes to correcting records, we could get into that. And the fact is, those talking points were, as the Deputy Director of the CIA testified before Congress, as he has talked to the press about, on Benghazi, were created by the CIA.
Thank you. And let me yield now to Mr. Blumenauer.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. I really appreciate this, and I've found the conversation here to be very useful. And I think you're highlighting the wide range of issues that are on people's minds. I hope there's an opportunity to continue it. Mr. Botticelli, how many marijuana overdose deaths were there in the most recent year you have available?
To my knowledge, I don't know if there have been instances of specific overdose-related.
No, you talked about marijuana deaths, and so I want to be clear. I'm not trying to trap you.
No.
How many marijuana deaths have there been in the last 5 years?
So if you're referring to overdoses, I am not sure of those numbers. If you're referring to fatalities,
then I would like us with how many overdose deaths there were, because I have heard from experts whose judgment I respect that they don't know of any. So that would be really important for you to provide, at least to me, if not to the committee. What is more dangerous and addictive, methamphetamines and cocaine or marijuana?
So, I don't think anyone would dispute the fact that there's relative toxicity